Ready? Play.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Talking Tennis. Today we are watching Mr. Taylor Fritz v Casper Ruud. Should be an exciting one. Today I'm joined by Damien and Ashley. Ashley, I can't see you. What's happened to the little banner there? It's over your face. You'll be appearing in a second, I'm
That's
sure.
my bad.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't look the best today, so it's okay.
That's better.
And Shuhiri is here at the moment, but I believe you're going to be dipping out in a second, right? Or
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the match once it begins.
we can talk. Yeah, exactly.
I'll be pulling the strings from behind after. So
yeah, intrigued to hear everybody's thoughts. I'll go to Damien first. Damien, how do you feel about the match? What are you thinking?
Yeah, we talked about it a bit before the broadcast started. I mean, on a fast indoor hard court, it should theoretically be a very good matchup for Fritz. I think super impressed with what he showed against Nadal, especially in how he had basically from both wings he was able to do a lot of damage, and I think that was key in just not allowing Nadal to get back into the points, which on this court is super tough. Then again, I'm quite unsure what to think of Ruud's display here, and especially considering how last year he also made the semis. Pretty much no one thought he would do that, and the same goes for this year. And somehow he's able to make that Turin court work for him, which, in theory, especially after the last 2 months for him after the US Open, his form has been very well, not even up and down. I mean, it's mostly been down. So yeah, I'm excited to see how Casper tackles this one. They haven't played yet. We've seen a lot of underdog wins this tournament already, and certainly wouldn't be surprised if Casper snatches this one. But I think Taylor is definitely the favorite for me.
Yeah, I'll elaborate on my own thoughts in a second, but I probably tend to agree with you there, Damien. Ashley, what are your thoughts? Do you think Ruud or Fritz in this one?
Yeah, I think Fritz is the favorite. I would agree with Damien on that one. I think Fritz has come in kind of as like a low-key like an underdog for some people. Not a lot of people, but some people, as far as competing with the other 7 people in this group. But I think this is a fun match for me because this is the first time that they've ever played against each other. So I'm always excited to see when a new matchup kind of starts, to see how they play against each other tactically, how they handle the ebbs and flows of not really being familiar as to like how their game matches up with their game. But I think I like Fritz in this one. I think I said Fritz in 3 when we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I think I like Fritz in this one.
Yeah, that's probably a good shout. I think all of us tending towards Fritz for sure. Certainly on paper, a lot of people would say Fritz's serve's probably the superior one out of the two of them. But honestly, indoors, first serve, the whole field should be holding their first serve fairly easily. It's fast enough that, serve plus one. We saw Rublev pretty much, get through every service game unscathed against Medvedev, bar one slip up. He only got broken once for that whole match. Obviously, his game is great for serve plus one, great forehand, great first serve. But I mean, that's the same with these two. 130 mile an hour serve for Fritz and a great forehand, 120 or so for Ruud. It doesn't really make a difference. The first serve should be getting one for both of them, about 80%, maybe 75% or so. It'll come down to second serves for me. And Damien, you touched on it there. I think the fact that Fritz has got a superior backhand to Felix could make a really big difference in this matchup. Will be a little bit easier for Fritz to stop Ruud from running round. Of course, he's probably the player that runs around the most, I would say, out of the lot of them. I think Fritz will be able to pin him back. And also, he's got the power to hit through. We've seen Ruud lose to big backhands fairly recently. What we had, Stan, we had, I can't remember the rest of them off the top of my head, but it is still a Nishioka as well, obviously with his forehand as a lefty, was able to sort of pin him into that corner as well. So my point is that Fritz should have a little bit of an advantage in that department, and I'm erring on straight sets, I would say. Is that too bold a prediction? Where's Damien gone? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, sorry, I just clicked something completely random and it took me to another page. Hopefully, I'm not going to do as much. So what was the last thing that you said?
The last thing I said was, is that too bold a prediction? Straight sets. I don't think the matchup disparity is that massive, but I do think maybe 2 tight sets go in the way of Fritz.
I'd agree with you, but generally, I didn't think that Ruud was going to do much in this group anyway. So
Yeah, the
after
win
the
against
first match,
Felix was massive.
yeah, I know. But then again, do we really think that Ruud played some incredible stuff in there? I mean, sort of, but it certainly wasn't the Felix that we saw
Yeah, the
winning
one thing that he
16
did
matches
really
in a row.
well, I would say, was he served well, and it's a very underrated aspect of his game. He's really good at holding serve and also pretty comfortably too. I think there was that match against Berrettini at the US Open. He served really well, in my opinion. Last year, too, if you look at the players he lost to, they're really excellent returners, Djokovic and Medvedev. They're the players who beat him in Turin last year. So I think we sort of underestimate his skill set, I would say, on a court like this. And obviously beating Felix, they just it's safe to say that he's not one of those players who's guaranteed 0-3, in the group stage. He should, I mean, having gotten the win over Felix and this matchup, you would sometimes, I mean, Fritz is not somebody you would sleep on either, because I have him making the semifinals, of course. But then at the same time, I think if Casper Ruud, this is probably his moment where he'll sense that this is the best chance to seal a spot in the semifinals. Matchup wise, you would favor Fritz, just based on the conditions. But then again, since they've not played each other and they're quite contrasting, I would say, in the way they do play. So it's hard to make a prediction, but Ruud, I expect, will be steady enough if the match will go the distance. He's not a player who generally commits a lot of errors. We see that from Fritz, although his performance against Nadal was just excellent and clean. If he does bring that, you would favor him. But I want to go for Casper Ruud in 3 sets here.
I think good shout, Sharia. I like your reasoning, I guess. I agree with you saying that Ruud's serve is definitely underrated. Certainly the first serve in the juice court out wide, look out for that. I think that, for me, that's the improvement he made to make his first sort of strides on a hard court. Led him to the title in San Diego last year, the first one he got in a hard court, and obviously we've seen him make US Open final, Miami final. Those sort of accolades speak for themselves. I think everybody knows that Ruud's had an amazing year, obviously, as world number 2 in the world. So yeah, look out for that. Fritz, more of a T server for me. That's his better serve. But as I say, first serve I don't think comes into it much. It will just be that matchup on second serve, and Fritz has just got that little bit of an advantage that it should go his way for me. Oh, Shuri's gone.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, a lot of play in this tournament really depends on serve plus 1 forehand, and it seems that for Ruud on a clay court, it's actually one of his bread and butter shots, and it's very nice to see him actually translating that to faster conditions, because it hasn't been obvious in the past, of course.
Yeah.
So I am definitely positively surprised by how well he's holding up in this. I do think that for viewing enjoyment, the court is maybe even slightly too quick. A lot of play is about just serving and whether someone gets a return in and whether the plus 1 forehand goes in. But then again, for Ruud, it theoretically shouldn't be great, but he's actually doing so well in this. And he even, as we said, he qualified for the semis in 2021, which was pretty huge. So.
Yeah.
Of course, that wasn't maybe the toughest of groups. He beat Rublev and Norrie, but this isn't either, and he's got every chance of qualifying right now after getting the first win, of course.
For sure. It'll be interesting to see what he does with his return position. I believe against Felix. Now, I didn't see the whole match, but I believe he was pushed back for second serve, which is very common for him. But we saw Medvedev trying that against Rublev, which is his. He does that all the time, and then he started pushing forward because he felt like he needed to get the return back to Rublev's feet faster than usual, because he couldn't just sit back. The balls were too fast off of the plus 1 shot. So it'll be interesting to see what Ruud does here. That was Fritz, that just had a really exceptional return, pushing up actually to force the error and already go love 15 up on Ruud's serve. So again, look out for Fritz doing the same thing. We have started, by the way. Has everybody got their streams up?
Yeah,
Yep.
I am currently pulling mine up.
You at 15 all at the moment, Damien?
Now I got 15 all.
Cool.
A little behind, but it shouldn't be that much of a problem. It's like 5 seconds, maybe. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Cool. I'll go back a little bit just so I'm not giving you too many spoilers. At the moment,
Yeah, I do not have Tennis TV, so
I'm on Prime, David.
of course, neither that. I mean, I'm using some shady sites. So. I was talking about it this before.
We do not advocate the use of shady sites. Almost I swore there. Sorry, that was a tongue
I have an
twister.
explanation for this. I do have a great explanation for this because at one point, I mean, I just said that I'm not gonna subscribe to Tennis TV unless they start showing all doubles, all qualifying, all side courts. It's just such BS for me that you know this sort of practices are not obvious to tennis broadcasters in 2022, and yeah, I just decided not to support them.
It doesn't cost much, and obviously challengers do it, right? Is that your point? Like, if challengers are doing it, then why don't higher level tournaments do it?
And I mean, I think they're doing it for the reason that they don't want to like share just a single camera behind the court. So if there's no crew, they're not going to show them much, and I think that's plain stupid. And yeah.
Yeah, because people would tune into that stuff. By the way, already got a bit of pressure on Ruud's serve here, 15-30. Fritz able to rush Ruud's forehand in the previous point with a massive one cross court. I think Ruud's just hit a let cord, so we are going to see a second serve here at 15-30 already. Since it's quite an important point, immediately I can talk you through what happens here. Ruud going for the second serve down the tee. I'll correct that, sorry. It was first serve after all. So he's got a second serve now. Second serve to the Fritz forehand. Fritz gets it back into play. Ruud going inside out. And Fritz nets it. So 30 all already odds on for the first hold of the match. That could have been quite a good chance there. Fritz obviously looking a bit dismayed.
Yeah, that's a shot he will regret because like he wasn't even trying to be aggressive with it, right? He was just trying to play deep into the middle, which has been very successful for him in this game. That's for sure. Ooh.
Seeing Fritz mouthing, oh my God, there. Obviously very disappointed in that one. Ace down the tee for Casper Ruud to get to 40-30 now. What do you guys think for Ruud's year next year? Do you think he continues to go up, or do you think he's about leveled out the most he can get out of his game?
It's kind of hard to go up from here. I mean, what would he have to do? Win a slam, I guess, right? Or
basically
become the world number one.
I guess that. Well, he could win a Masters. I would say that was going up.
Yeah,
win a big title.
I guess with 2 Grand Slam finals, we're sort of. Even though he hasn't won a Masters 1000 event, we sort of treat him as if he did, right? I mean, I think this is, of course, this would be a huge milestone for him, but I mean, I don't really view it as something that's really like very missing from his shelf, trophy shelf. Yeah,
you're basically saying his level's already there for winning a Masters, basically, even though he's not done it.
Yeah,
he's showing he's there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't think there's much that Casper can do. Obviously, winning a Masters, winning a tournament, a Grand Slam tournament will be very good for him, and that would signify that he is moving up. But for me personally, I don't think there's much that he can improve on his game. I think a lot of the stuff that he needs to improve on are like nitpicky things. So I'm just looking for him to just continue to establish himself as a top 5, top 10 player in the world.
Yeah, that's fair. How would you say? What does he need to do that? I guess, Ashley, what do you think?
I mean, just honestly, just continue to do what he's doing. Like, he's probably one of the most consistent players on the tour. I think his consistency is, quite frankly, pretty underrated. You don't get the 2 slam finals just by being too streaky. I think he's been pretty consistent at the lower levels. It's showing at the bigger levels that he can hang with the top guys. I just think he just continues to do that next year, and he'll probably solidify himself as a top 5, top 10 player in the world. I mean, he was close to number one. So
Yeah,
I
was
don't
one win away, right?
Yeah, one went away, and then he ran into, inform Alcaraz, who just wasn't going to go down. I just think just staying more continue his consistency and form, and then also adding a couple of big trophies, a Masters 1000, a Slam trophy, would just kind of solidify that he is moving up and he's kind of solidifying his place in the top.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to imagine him rapidly improving from here and winning 2 slams next year. But it's also very hard to imagine him, I don't know, falling out of the top 20. I just don't think it's gonna happen. He's just his base level is just far too good for that.
Definitely, yeah. I think. By the way, we're at love 40, so I think worth just.
It's not a good game for Fritz here. Not a good game.
No, it was pretty loose. I think all 2 of those points were unforced errors, pretty standard ones as well off the +1. Though. Yeah, it was a great shot. Yeah, just to erase some of the pressure. Again, 15-40 on these courts isn't awful. It's like John Isner, right? Ish. To expand on what you were saying there, a lot of people underrate Casper's performance in big matches because he's lost all of them. But I mean, you look at the level he brought to the match against Alcaraz. I think some people don't really realize that level would have beat, most players basically. Obviously, Alcaraz is, special in some ways. At the same time, Casper had set points in that third set. Easily, could have taken them, with a little bit more luck.
He was looking much better physically, right? I mean, if he won the third set, I think it's most people think that he would have won the final.
Yeah, I think so too.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Ruud raises another break point, by the way, with a really good serve for 30-40 now. Misses his first serve on the 30-40 point, though, so we now are at second serve. Casper is pushing back. He's very deep in the court, going for a backhand cross-court. Fritz finds his forehand inside out. They are trading cross-court backhands now, though. Fritz gets another forehand, goes inside in. Ruud goes cross-court. He's now dominating with his forehand. You imagine he takes it from here. He's going to find forehands regardless of what happens. Gets another aggressive forehand. Yeah, comes into the net and forces the error.
On my broadcast, they showed a great stat. I'm not sure if it was there for you as well. At the beginning of the game, a comparison of Ruud's return on hard courts and clay of his first serve return. Yeah, and it showed that on clay he was 5 meters behind the baseline. On hard courts he was 1 meter something. Yeah. And he took 85% of his first serve returns from the forehand with a slice on hard courts and just 9% on clay, which I think is just another good way to describe how good he's been at adapting to different conditions.
That was a huge reason for his breakout on hard courts. But we did say Ruud's 2 love up. Yeah, that was the chip return. That got so much better last year, and it's a huge reason for him improving. And obviously, he's going to find that forehand on clay the majority of the time. Maybe not on first serve, but he'll be desperate to find it for sure. Whereas it's not really tenable on a hard court. Goes 15 love up on this service game, by the way. Fritz manages to find the return on the 15 love point, but pushes a backhand long, so we're at 15 all. We had that comment from the producer. Casper Ruud was 2 sets away from number 1. Casper Ruud was a set point and a set away from number 1.
Yeah.
You could even say a set point, because I think if he'd got that, I don't know, Alcaraz is pretty mental, to be fair. But another great serve from Ruud, and we're now at 40 love, looking like an easy service hold. The amount of times I said that in the Rublev-Medvedev match, oh my God, particularly Rublev. To see Medvedev be buoyed like that against somebody's serve, it's just incredible. Rublev was amazing on serve. And maybe doesn't go underrated in this tournament. Do we give him any chances?
Are we talking about Rublev here?
Yeah.
I mean, this tournament, I give anyone that steps foot in this tournament, I think, has a pretty decent shot. It's all about who can withstand these matches, because these are really tough matches. You're facing the top players in the world. But if Rublev keeps serving like he did, and also I think this is an underrated part of his win yesterday, if he keeps his mental about him, because there are plenty of times where he could have just gone by the wayside. Like after that first set, I thought it was curtains for my dude Rublev. I'm like, he's about to get blasted off of this court, but then he kind of brought it together and stayed the course and won it in 3. I think his serving and if he keeps his mental about him, I think he could potentially make it out of the group, and who knows after that. I think he could potentially win this tournament with how well he served yesterday. I also think he returned pretty well as during yesterday's match, yesterday.
Yesterday,
yeah. Yesterday. And the days are escaping me.
Yeah. In the meantime,
exactly
Ruud
the
hit an
same.
absolutely awesome forehand counter, and
I saw that down the line.
that
It was a great
that,
shot.
that was pretty cool.
Already
yeah,
looking
Event Cup-
like I was gonna say already looking like Fritz doesn't have the firepower to hit through Ruud's backhand. At
Yeah.
least he's not really
he was
shown
trying
much so far.
he was trying to hit with him on the backhand side, right? It's trying to go into that backhand against backhand pattern, and it didn't really do that much to Ruud. And if he's not trying to do that, then Ruud is just hitting forehands from everywhere on the court. So
Yeah.
looking great so far, which is kind of surprising. And when it comes to Rublev, who you asked about, I mean, he was probably the most unlucky player when it comes to the draw. There's like pretty much getting your draw in the ATP finals is like 3 coin tosses, because you get either this player or this one, and he got the worst option in like all 3 cases, I think. But still, it was pretty hard for me to imagine him getting more than 1 win. But after he beat Medvedev, it's actually doable, And then he's so close to securing this qualification now. And if he plays like against Medvedev, he certainly has a good chance against Tsitsipas. I mean, this is a matchup he's done well in before, right? Especially compared to his rivalry with Djokovic or Medvedev. I guess with Djokovic they only played twice and it's 1-1, but Belgrade, we don't really treat it as like a serious battle between them, because of course Djokovic was still like making his way back after not playing for a while. He was dead in that third set, but still, just when it comes to the matchup, Tsitsipas is definitely the easiest opponent for him in that group.
Oh, for sure. You think about his match against Novak last year. You don't give him many chances. There were so many quotes from him, right? Stuff like he's the best player in the world. I don't think he said explicitly he had no chance of winning, but it was words to that effect. He was not confident in his chances before playing it. So I don't think he'll.
I mean, who would be in that group? I mean,
he was, to be fair, you're right, Ashley. And he was quite self-deprecating this year as well, right? He was like, I'm in a group with 3 other former champions. What am I doing here, basically? That message from Srihiri on that tweet, even from Srihiri on the screen there, quite right. I mean, that'll give Ruud so much confidence in early break in these conditions. So easy just to sort of let loose. We've already seen him miss a few forehands letting loose, but also make a few. So I think he'll be happy just to swing for the rafters on a return, particularly. 3-1 now. Easy hold for Taylor Fritz there. Honestly, the Rublev-Medvedev match, even though there was a lot of easy holds, was very entertaining. And I was honestly blown away by Rublev's quality on serve. I'm one of those people who likes quite wham bam, thank you ma'am tennis, to be honest. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
I love my variety. I really do. I enjoy it. But anytime a person can like smack down a serve and then a good +1, I'm like, oh, beautiful. Like, oh.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I agree, Ashley. 90s kids, eh?
I did sort of start thinking about it that, well, it takes a bit of tactical depth out of matches, I think. When it's too fast, I think you could even say that when it comes to this match. This is the first time I'm doing this for Talking Tennis, but I did one stream like that for a challenger match last year, and it was on carpet in Ismaning, Cressy against Ote, and it was super fun. it was super fun. We did it with a friend, and well, we had a lot of fun talking. We basically had only Twitter interactions before, but we never really like just talked, even if it's not in real life. It was still great for us to get to know each other. But yeah, it just seemed like we were talking about all the possible things, really, but not the actual matchup, what they were doing tactically, because it was just way too fast. It was just them blasting serves and Cressy serve and volleying, of course. So we sort of found a few ways to just I don't know, insert some tactical analysis in there, like about the wing that Cressy should be approaching to, but yeah, it just felt like we couldn't really find much in terms of just trying to analyze how they're playing. And I think on courts that are super fast, it really can be a bit of an issue in terms of my viewing enjoyment, even though I totally agree with you guys that variety is key. And I've certainly I think tennis was supposed to be played like find the ability to be aggressive, not actually stay back and wait for the error.
Yeah, I mean, I like both though, Damien. I've not really got a preference. If I can mix it up, and the clay season precedes the grass season, perfect. I don't mind it being mixed up like this. So a few indoor court tournaments at the end of the year when they're all knackered and they need the serve anyway, I'm all for that, definitely. 30 all on Fritz's Ruud serve, I should say. Sorry, does smack down an ace though down the tee, and we see Fritz raging at his camp to go 40-30 down in this game. Fritz did have a couple of great points. He managed to force an error from Ruud's forehand with a great cross-court one. Managed to pin him into the backhand at one point, actually, Damien, and forced the slice error from Ruud. But 2 great points doesn't cut it in a service game, unfortunately. It has to be at least 4. 40-30, I'll let you know what happens here. Big serve out wide from Ruud. It's an ace. 2 aces back-to-back, and we are at 4-1.
Yeah, there was a small chance for Taylor to get the break back. I mean, 15-30, but just 3 insane serves from Ruud, and there's not much he could do. 2 aces and 1, I think, was just set him up for a very easy +1. So
exactly, and I think that'll be the story for most of this match, probably. And yeah, especially from Ruud. As they say, don't underrate his serve. We've already seen him outfox Fritz a couple of times with the tee serve and the juice court. As I say, primarily goes for that slider out wide. If he starts hitting that now, Fritz might be scratching his head. When you hit that slider out wide and you show people, you can get it short, maybe sort of 5 foot up the service box or so, that's when you can open up the tee serve as well. And I think that's why Ruud's so good at covering his serve on that side. The ad court's different. I think it's more about him getting his forehand into play, and it's much tougher for opponents to find the backhand from that side. But yeah, he's got benefits on both sides that make him such a strong hard court on serve. Did any of you call? I was just going to say, did any of you actually call Ruud being number 2 by the end of the year, at the start of the year?
Of course not.
Not in your wildest dreams, Damien, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Of course, in this year we didn't actually need this many points to get there. I did predict that either him or Tsitsipas would get Roland Garros. Like, that was my prediction at the beginning of the year when someone asked me about some wild stuff. So that perhaps looks pretty well. that doesn't look bad when it comes to the fact that he made the final, but he was still so easily outplayed in it. But I think no one could have really thought that he was getting to the US Open finals as well. And just the sheer fact that with 5k points he was, as we said earlier, a set point and 1 set away. That's I think what no one really thought of. And John is saying that his prediction of Fritz in straight sets is looking shaky. Yeah, I think a lot of what we said at the beginning of the broadcast is already looking
very scary for us.
Yeah.
Fritz's backhand already looking quite ropey there. Dumps one into the bottom of the net to go 15 all. So yeah, a lot of our predictions are kind of up in the air at the moment. Interesting point has just come up there, by the way. Ruud 2 games away from knocking out Nadal, only has to win the first set to knock the Spaniard out of the tournament, obviously, with Nadal having lost his last 2 matches in straight sets to Felix and Fritz. dangerous stuff. Fritz looking a bit out of sorts, even on serve. I don't know, just not looking particularly comfortable. He has had matches like this every so often throughout the season. I don't think he's as consistent a player as Ruud, to be fair. I don't think he brings the same base level to each match. Is that a fair assessment?
I would agree. I agree with that. I think his base level tends to fluctuate based on if he's nervous before a match or if the match is not necessarily going his way, in which obviously he's down 1-4, so clearly nothing is going his way. So I think his base level is not steady enough to kind of ride the waves of a match. I would agree that he doesn't bring the same level, same base level to every match.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing here as Fritz pushes a forehand long to go 15-40. Casper Ruud now having won 4 for 4 on points over 9 shots. Fritz with a great first serve out wide, should finish the point, and does with a forehand inside in, so it is 30-all now. Again, not so dangerous in these conditions. I've got a pretty controversial question for you guys. I don't know if Ruud fans listening are going to take this as offense. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just asking for your guys' opinion on it. What do you guys think about the 6 matches that Casper Ruud had to win at the French Open and the 6 matches he had to win at the US Open to get to the finals? Do you think there was anything there that was particularly taxing, or do you think it was a fairly easy run in both tournaments?
I gotta go back and look at those runs real quick.
I can give you an idea.
You're not gonna see much, honestly. I definitely think it was. I think both runs were pretty much one of the easier slam routes we had in the past, I don't know, decade probably, or something like that. I think in the era of Big Three, it was extremely tough to even make slam finals, and of course, winning them is another thing. But yeah, both these runs. I mean, who did he play? At the US Open, I think it was much easier even, right, than at the French. But at the French, we sort of knew that he was one of the favorites going in. At the US Open, not really.
Yeah, I mean, and he didn't play a top 10 player in either run, right?
No, not a top 10 player.
Played Hurkacz at Roland Garros, but I'm not sure if Hurkacz was in the top 10
was
or maybe
the 12th seed.
Yeah, he could have been like 12, 11, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the highest ranked player he played on both runs. I had to remind myself of each run.
But Hurkacz at the French as well. Hurkacz on clay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the toughest match that he had was probably an informed Cilic at the French. Outside of Alcaraz, like outside of the finals with against Nadal and Alcaraz, I would say an informed Cilic. But then he
Berrettini perhaps. Berrettini has done so well in he's done so well in best of 5 play, right? Throughout
I agree,
the last couple of seasons. But it wasn't much of a contest, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was taken to 5 by Lorenzo Sonego, and then he won the last 2 sets 6-4, 6-3. So you can argue that was a tough one. You can argue. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying you can argue.
My point was going to be basically Casper Ruud is 1000% a top 8 player in form and how he plays for sure, because I think he brings a great level to every match, and that's why he was in 2 Grand Slam finals. But I don't think he's at the top 2. Obviously he's second in the world, but a large percentage of those points will come from those 2 Grand Slam finals. I don't think he's the second best player in the world. Is that too harsh?
I don't think it is. He's not the number 2 anymore, right?
He might not be, actually. Yeah, he might.
I think he's 3.
Even 4th.
He's not. I don't think he's the 3rd or the 4th. There was a reason that we.
No, I'm saying the 3rd ranked player in the world. I'm not saying he's the 3rd best player in the world. I think he's.
All I'm talking about is form. I don't want to annoy any Ruud fans, obviously, but I'm saying objectively. I definitely think there are players I would rank above him in terms of form.
Since the US Open, he hasn't been a top 20 player probably, but he's definitely a top 10 player at the ATP finals. That's for sure.
I'm curious, Jack. Who would you put above Ruud as far as form at this current moment?
Novak, 1000%.
Okay.
Carlos.
Okay.
Yeah, well, obviously he's not won as many matches, but I still put Carlos ahead, given he won the US Open and the other tournaments he's won this year, etc. And probably still Daniel. Despite that scrappy match. I don't think he played a great match against Rublev, but still managed to get himself to a third set tiebreak. It's not just because of that match, obviously. Yeah, I'd put those three players above him for sure. Carlos, Novak, and Medvedev. For certain.
Tsitsipas? No Tsitsipas in there?
Maybe even Steph. No, I would just, Ashley asked for three players. That's three players, but I think Steph.
Okay.
Steph goes up there as well, I think, and then probably Felix too.
Interesting.
Even though Casper beat Felix, I still think Felix has done so much the latter few weeks of the season, the last few weeks of the season, I should say, that he can't be counted out. Is this too much Casper Ruud roasting? He is up 5-2 at the moment. He's playing incredibly well against Taylor Fritz.
I don't think it's unfair to say that he's, as far as form, not like top 2, top 3 in the world. I don't think it's necessarily roasting. It's just looking at him purely as a player on the court and ignoring the rankings. I don't think, quite frankly, getting to a final of a Grand Slam is hard. Doing it twice in a year is pretty hard. So we're not discrediting that. I looking at this run, like, he had one of the easier paths to both finals than most people have had. But I mean, quite honestly, I agree with everything you said as far as form. Casper is very consistent, has very consistent base level, but I think his base level and even his peak form is a little bit lower than his compatriots. And I don't think that's a roast. I think that's just it is what it is. It is what it is.
It's not rude, is it, Ashley?
No, and now would be rude. Be like, yeah, Casper freaking sucks. That would be rude. That would be rude. But no, we're not saying that he sucks. We're saying that he's a great player.
Sorry, I was making a terrible pun there, Ashley. Ignore that one. Obviously, you didn't even acknowledge it, which is probably for the best.
Rude.
Yeah.
I heard the pun. I just chose not to acknowledge it.
For the best. It's talking tennis, not talking beep that out. 40 love at the moment for Fritz, by the way. Easy hold to get himself 5-3. Big service game for Ruud here. Not one really prone to nerves, I would say. So I think he should be okay. Bar a really good return performance from Fritz. There's our producer as well, also agreeing Steph is ahead. Steph, I'd love to talk Steph all day because I've got so much to say about him. I think I'd love to cover a Steph match this week. It's just been one of the most bizarre seasons of any player for me ever. He's been playing so great, yet there's just so many titles that aren't going his way, and it's quite difficult to see. There was quite an interesting discussion on Twitter. Again, I won't talk about Steph for too long. It's quite an interesting discussion on Twitter. Has Steph peaked yet? Can he get better? And would those improvements really make a difference? Can he win a slam, basically? And nobody really has a straight answer.
I mean, quite honestly, for me, the biggest place of improvement would be possibly the backhand. But that could take years to get fixed and stuff like that. And quite honestly, even with the back, him shanking a few backhands per match, he's still making it deep into the tournament, into tournaments off of clay, which is, I think, his backhand that's the surface his backhand is best on. That's probably the only area. I don't think he's peaked quite yet. I think he still has a lot of room to grow as far as the mental side of things, not kind of getting in his own head and making little itty bitty mistakes in the big moments. I think that's where he also needs to improve in, the clutch moments, being a little bit sharper. Now, I'm not talking about Novak Djokovic, no errors in a tiebreak sharp, but maybe minimizing the errors would be cool, would be quirky. And then maybe those errors and those tight moments in the match would get him the titles that he was looking for this year. But I think those are two glaring places. I don't think he's peaked. I want to say that he hasn't peaked, but then again, we'll have to see it. But right now, I don't think he's peaked quite yet.
You could be right, Ashley. Tough to say at this point. Segueing away from Steph just for a second, we're at 3 set points for Casper Ruud. 3 fairly standard service points to get himself to this position. Now hitting a first serve down the tee, misses it by a whisker, and we've got second serve. I can't imagine Fritz will have won many return points. I will look that up in a second. Or we might get it on the screen, in fact, and I'll let you know. It's been pretty.
It was that
slim
1540 game, right? So it's gonna be
Of
like
course,
five,
yeah.
like 5, probably, maybe 6 even.
Yeah, I'm going to say 6, Damien. I think that's a good shout, especially as we've just went 40-15. I think that's about right. I'll place my bet.
I will not spoil the answer until after this set or
Okay.
after this game. Who knows?
Yeah, the set might not be over, exactly. I'll tell you how the second one goes. Ruud on his more comfortable side goes into the body for the first time of the match. Fritz does get it back and they're in an extended rally, but Fritz shanks the forehand and we're at 6-3 set to Ruud. Right, what's the return point count, Ashley? Is it 6?
Okay, so it's actually 5.
It's 5. Nice shout,
Yes,
David.
so he is 12% on first return points.
Is it
He
5?
made 2. Yeah.
This is sick.
This is according to the stats that are here. I mean, I've probably updated, but at this point in time, 2:43 Central Standard Time in wonderful Alabama.
I've got 6 here, actually, Ashley.
Yeah, I've got 6. I mean,
on Prime, it's just come up as 6.
Okay, now update. Okay, now it's 6. It's 2 of 18. My app was a little bit slow there, but like 2 seconds ago it was 5. Now it's 6. Okay, so it's 2 of 18 on first serve or first return point, so 11%.
Yeah.
And then 50% on second return points, 4 of 8. So
what's the first serve in percentage? Because I can't imagine there have been many.
11%.
Excuse me.
First serve or for
in first serve in for Ruud, yeah.
Oh, for Ruud. Oh, 69. Nice.
Of course. Nice numbers.
The broadcast is saying 665 actually. So I don't know.
But I suppose that there is a difference.
There are stat discrepancies. I'm going based on my app and it says 69. Nice.
I do want to say that my prediction is holding up decently well so far.
Way to rub it in our
I
face.
think you're actually gonna be wrong, and we're gonna see Ruud winning in 2. Of course, then you're just slightly wrong. But...
Right, slightly wrong, yeah. But
Fritz and 3, there's still hope for me.
Yeah,
I mean, Fritz definitely the far worst player there. He's gonna have to in so many.
You expect him to be consistent and not. He can have bad days, but then that is usually him just being, outplayed or taking the racket out of his hand. Probably speaking, he's not one to lose by virtue of just praying errors. That's what Fritz did. Now, I would say, just way too many unforced errors.
Yeah.
There's a very complicated question on the screen. I see.
If you can give us one name. David,
Shelton, of course. I mean, Shelton, I think, is the obvious shout. He pretty much started playing in June this year, and he's already almost in the top 100. I think he's absolutely special. We still have him in Champagne this week. Gonna get the Australian Open wildcard, like 99% certain, or maybe he even gets in automatically. And I don't think he's playing the Challenger Tour anymore after that. That's a pretty obvious shout. Yibing Wu, if he ever gets healthy enough. Zhizhen Zhang, if he's Zhizhen Zhang is actually in the top 100, so that's Dominic Thiem, by the way. That fits, right?
That's nice.
Who is not in the top 100 right now, and who is gonna break through? I mean, would it be a breakthrough for Dominic Thiem? I don't know, but yeah, Shelton Yibing Wu. That's probably what I would be going with.
For Dami. I'll count it for Dami.
Yeah.
I appreciate the Ben Shelton shout, because as a college tennis fan, I've been watching him for a little bit now. He's the current NCAA champion, if you don't know.
Yeah.
Men's singles champ out of Florida. I always thought his game was pretty darn good, and that he ever got to the pros, he could be something special. And you're seeing it so far at the Challenger Tour. We'll see what happens if he gets that Australian Open wild card or if he qualifies on his own. But I've always liked Ben.
for those that don't know as well, Ashley, of course, Ben Shelton was able to beat Casper Ruud earlier in the year in
Yes.
Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember for sure. Was that?
Yes.
Yeah, then
Yes,
got trashed
6-3,
by Nori,
6-3.
but
Yes.
Yeah, we don't speak about that though, David. But
Yeah. Also, if you look at the screen, Carlos Alcaraz is officially the ATP year-end number 1.
Yeah.
this year.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
yeah, because
Yeah, Rafael Nadal is knocked out by
Nadal
virtue
is
of
out,
Casper
yeah.
Ruud winning a set. That's all he needed to do, really. Nadal being out means he cannot win the tournament. Tsitsipas was out of contention for the year number 1, having lost a match. He should have won the tournament unbeaten for him to get to year number 1. So neither of those are possible. And now Carlos Alcaraz is the ATP year number 1 for 2022.
Why? Youngest ATP year number 1 of all time.
He is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very
How old was Hewitt? Oh, was he ever ATP year number 1? I think he was, right?
He
I'm
was.
pretty sure, yeah.
He was.
He
That was in
was,
1
yeah.
and 2, I think, maybe even. Right, because who else would that be?
Yeah,
Right.
For 2 years, he was. Yeah.
Right. So I guess he was 20.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
20 and
he was-
20 and like 8 months, 9 months. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Carlos
Was that
is
right?
official.
Wow. He might still have been 19, to be fair. I'm not 100% sure.
mean, I
But
can look it up
his
now.
birth-
I
his
mean,
birthday-
I just checked it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he was born in 81 and 2001 and 2. Just as we said, these were the years where Hewitt was number 1.
Fritz with a pretty standard hold, by the way, and Ruud now coming out to get his first game on the board of the second set has just gone up 15 love. Yeah, I remember seeing if Carlos Alcaraz did make it to number 1, he would have been the youngest year end. So, yeah, definitely right. Fritz with a fairly good hold there, by the way. He had a few second serve points he had to get through. Came up with some screamers in the forehand and the backhand down the line, which we've just seen again, by the way. I wonder if he'll start changing direction more often on that shot. Drop shotting, one of the weirdest drop shots I've ever seen there. Casper Ruud failing to re-drop him there. Maybe Fritz doesn't drop shot that often.
Yeah, I gotta say that this has been pretty underwhelming so far. Like pretty much just one
Yes.
awful loose game from Taylor at the beginning, and then the set, like, it never really fired up. There was never any point where we thought that something could happen. And yeah, so perhaps the second would be better. I hope this isn't gonna finish in like 30 minutes.
I know, yeah. To be fair, Fritz looked really comfortable in that service game. He's had a few extended rallies where he's not made stupid mistakes. It's 15-all as well. Second serve, so small chance for Taylor here. I'll tell you what happens here in case it is important. Second serve clips the net and it's a double fault, so a faint glimmer of opportunity at 15:30 in Ruud's first service game of the second set.
Another
much
thing that's very
quality.
underrated about Ruud is that he won't let such moments like waver in his head. He gets over them pretty quickly. You don't see him choking matches either, or like get tight in important matches. Felix, that's something he is incorporated off late. Today he was just completely clutch serving out the match against Nadal. Although Nadal, I would say, just really bad performance. That forehand goes wide.
Yeah, very shaky serve plus 1 there from Ruud as he only just misses the line. He just pushed it with a bit of side spin.
Fritz
past
has
the
2
line.
break points here. Very
50
similar
40.
start to the opening set.
I can talk through the break point for those listening. I'll let you know exactly what happens. Casper Ruud with a first serve out wide. Fritz makes the return. Ruud looking for his forehand, but kind of shanks it a little bit. Fritz with another inside in forehand. Maybe the wrong time to pull the trigger because he misses by a fair margin and we're now at 30-40. Maybe a slight chance there, but couldn't quite control the shape of the ball. How do we think Holger Rune would have played? I think he would have played amazingly. He's now got the most indoor wins of the year. I think Felix might have just tied him up, actually, having beaten Nadal today, but he's right up there as one of the best indoor players we'll see for years to come, I imagine.
Big first
it's a
serve
shame
from
he
Ruud. He saves the
likely won't
second
get.
break point. And it's deuce now.
Say that again, Damien, sorry?
It's a shame that he likely won't get to play here. I think I was really honestly hoping that someone would pull out, because there are a couple of players in the field who I think are far less dangerous at the moment.
There's also similarity between a lot of the players that are currently in the field, where Holger would have offered something a little bit different. The matchups might have come into play a little bit more. So I was quite excited to see him in the field. I'm definitely a Holger fan nowadays, Damien. I think I remember once saying to you, I wasn't. No, by myself, I'm sure you are as well. And
okay.
I imagine Ashley probably is as well. But I wasn't sure about him at the start of the year for reasons off court, of course. But I'm starting to move past that.
Yeah, I've always just been able to. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Damien.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm becoming more of a fan of Rune, of Holger. I will admit, like at the beginning of the year, I hadn't watched too many of his matches. Being a broke college kid, I also don't have tennis channel or TV, so I can't watch too many matches. So I went back and did some do what other people do, like watch some highlights, watch some other matches on at slams. I like his game a lot. I've warmed up to him a little bit. I wouldn't say I'm a hardcore fan, but I would say I enjoy his tennis.
That's a second double fault, by the way, from Casper Ruud
yeah.
to now give advantage to Taylor Fritz, having had advantage himself to secure the game. Ruud with a first serve out wide, lands it. Actually, that was a really, really good serve, and flies past Fritz to go back to Juice.
Yeah, great serves on all the breakpoints so far, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what.
And the same with that. The same with that 15-30 game in the opening set, where he just blasted 3 first serves in a row, and all of them were perfectly placed. And the same we're seeing here. Even though there was an opening for Fritz, he couldn't really do much yet.
Another great first serve, and gives himself a really easy serve. +1 there to go advantage. 40 with his favourite serve out wide on the slider. So advantage Ruud now. I'll talk you through this one just to let you know what happens. Ruud with the first serve. Down the tee, just misses it again. It's been a pretty shaky one, this service game for him on all of his serves. We saw 2 double faults, of course, earlier on in the game. Second serve now to the backhand of Fritz. They're going cross court. Ruud goes down the middle rather than going cross court. Gives Fritz a few forehands to look at. Fritz now in control of the point. Great backhand cross court. One of the best we've seen from Fritz so far. Had the chance on the forehand to put it away, but missed. A little bit better from Fritz there, for sure. A lot less shakiness on the backhand, which has gone awry a few times throughout the match. But a lot more power there, and really should have won that last point as well.
Yeah, the backhand that we've been praising at the beginning of the broadcast, and it just hasn't done much. It just hasn't done much this much.
Commentators cheats. Man.
Finally, it actually did something here, of course, even though he didn't win the point. It set him up for a good position in the rally, but it certainly hasn't been as important as we thought it would be so far.
No, not at all. I wonder if maybe Nadal's forehand was just a little down on speed the other day as well, and actually it's setting up like that was maybe a benefit for Taylor, because obviously we know Ruud can flatten out his backhand a little more than he used to, although I still stand by he doesn't flatten out as much as he should against some players. But still, I just wonder if Rafa's a bad matchup, or Fritz is a bad matchup for Rafa, I should say.
I think Fritz is probably a tougher matchup for Rafa than either Auger-Aliassime or Ruud, but then again, I wouldn't really read that much into it, because Nadal has been so out of rhythm, so out of match practice, and it just shows on the court. It's interesting because I read that Moya was saying that at practice it doesn't look like that basically he's training like usual, he's looking great, but then again, I'm not sure if we actually trust it because he wouldn't really be saying that. No, Rafa is looking terrible in practice.
Yeah, it would be
think
Rafa
yeah.
being saying that he looks terrible in practice. And Moya will try to find a nicer way to say that he's not looking good in practice.
By the way, that last point from Fritz with some amazing backhands, trying to prove us wrong there. I thought he dominated the point really well with his backhand to give him that final forehand that forced the error. Signs of a better level from Taylor, given that first set was probably about a 4 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, he really should be winning the backhand rallies in this one. Like if they go just cross court, he really should be taking most of them because his backhand is actually a weapon, and Ruud is more of a rally shot that it's all, of course, to set him up for more forehands and try to run around. And Fritz can actually hit through the ball very efficiently. He just hasn't really been able to do that today.
Great pickup by Fritz there, by the way. Basically a half volley after Casper Ruud basically runs off court to his forehand return. Great hands to go 40-15 up in this second service game of the set. Interesting question from Sport and Politics. Is Rafa safe in his position as world number 2? No. He's got a lot of points coming up at the start of the year, right? He's got Melbourne, was it Melbourne? The Summer Series one and the Australian Open, obviously. And
he won 20 matches in a row, right?
He won
to start the year.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So absolutely not. No, he's not safe as world number 2.
Not even close to being safe, really. I mean,
he could also finish the season outside the top 2, depending on Tsitsipas' results. If he does, I think if Tsitsipas makes the final, Nadal
or Ruud, right? I mean,
Ruud
can do
it
too.
You have Ruud, you have Felix, obviously Medvedev is far off.
Felix, I don't think can get there, but
Felix, neither Felix. It's only Ruud and Tsitsipas. Felix and Medvedev, of course, can contest for the top 3 spot still. But
yeah.
And what does Ashley think about Rafa salvaging some pride and beating Casper?
I don't think that's happening. I'm gonna be real. I didn't think he was going to do anything in this group at the beginning of the when this group was announced. Like I think a lot of people just underestimated the other 3 people, Auger-Aliassime, Ruud, and Fritz in this group, and they overestimated Nadal. And I was just like, he could quite frankly lose all 3 matches in this group. I don't think it's really happening. Now he could find some decent form and win against Casper. But right now, with the way that he's been playing on court, which is not terrible, but he's been shaking in pretty big in key moments. And the way that Casper has been serving and his forehand and his form currently in the tournament, I quite frankly just don't see that happening. I really don't.
I wanted to count Rafa out given his injury, but the amount of times I've counted Rafa out and then he comes out and wins the French Open or still manages to beat Taylor Fritz in a Wimbledon quarterfinal, or I can't ever count him out. So I still had him second favorite for this group. But now that I've seen those 2 matches, I mean, there's no way, right? I think that injury really is taking a bit of a toll, particularly on his serve. So
yeah, but what if it's a dead rubber, right? If Ruud wins today, it's effectively a dead rubber. Ruud gets out of groups in first place anyway, so. That could perhaps play a bit into just Ruud not being as hungry for the win as he would be usually. Although I guess playing Rafa at the ATP finals, I think he's just gonna come out giving his best anyway.
I genuinely think there'll be a bit of, because he talked about how much mentally went into his outlook before going into the French Open final, right? Because of how much he idolized Rafa. I think he would benefit from getting a first win under his belt against Rafa just to get rid of some of that scar tissue, because it's genuinely an issue for him, and it was definitely an issue for him going into that final. As if, did he have a chance? He basically said he didn't before the match.
I think this would really set him up nicely for any further matches with Nadal. Maybe not even on clay, maybe also on hard courts like here. But this would be very important for him just in terms of just getting over that mental block, as he said, and just knowing that he can actually beat Rafa, which of course he can do, but it's a different thing, knowing, thinking you can, and actually seeing that you can.
It's not a great matchup for him, to be honest. We saw
No.
Nishioka beating. We saw Nishioka, but obviously, Rafa is the best in the game at it. But somebody like Nishioka, whose lefty forehand isn't as powerful or as heavy as Rafa's, he locked Ruud into that backhand corner and really tested him in Seoul earlier in the year and made Ruud's backhand look like there hadn't been any improvements made to it. So I feel like he's not the best against lefties in general, Ruud. And Rafa's the best of a lot of them. So even if Rafa's injured, there is a small chance because I don't think it's close to a matchup. It's probably his worst matchup, to be honest, because Rafa's the one player who can expose any weakness that's still lying there, where other players maybe can't do it quite as easily.
Yeah, but on a court like this, it should be a bit easier for him to get out of these patterns. This is maybe a bit of a paradox, but yeah, I think in the Nadal matchup, he's definitely got the best chance on the faster the conditions are, not actually what he's usually known for.
Yeah, you're right, for sure. Both players, by the way, with very easy service holds. Taylor just serving out an ace to get another 40-love hold. Ruud also with a 40-love hold. Serve and volley actually to finish off his service game. So Taylor moves 3-2 up in the second set. Fritz is playing better for sure. I'm looking for the shot that sparks this match to life, though. It's not quite happened yet, has it?
Yeah.
Not yet. No.
I remember me and Isabel did the Tsitsipas Djokovic match, to be fair, and it was like 6-2, not the one that just came, sorry, the one in Paris. And Tsitsipas lost that first set in emphatic fashion. It was 2-2, and we were just like, he's never going to break. And then all of a sudden, it turned into, close to not one of the matches of the season, but it was up there. It was great. It was a really good match. So there might be life in here yet.
The first 5 sets that Tsitsipas played against Djokovic were a total disaster, and I totally agree that midway through the second in Paris, we thought that the 6th was just gonna follow along and look the exact same.
It's very, very bizarre that Taylor Fritz and Casper Ruud haven't met. Yeah, this is bizarre. This is the first meeting. I was I was just amazed that any of the players hadn't met each other in any match so far. It's
that's the only
bizarre.
That's the only matchup in the ATP finals that hasn't happened before, or
yeah, it's the only one.
Sure. Okay,
no, it is. It's definitely the only one. Bizarre. We've got from John here. If Ruud wins in straight sets, I think that means he's qualified, and the defeat to Rafa won't matter.
I mean, he's not only qualified. I mean, he's number 1, right, in the group. It's only gonna be a straight up shootout between Felix and Taylor for the second place. I think Ruud is not just qualified if he wins in straights. If he wins at all, he's actually in first place, right?
Is that definitely right? So even bar a straight sets loss to Rafa?
Yeah. I mean, why? Why wouldn't he be like, right? Ruud is if Ruud wins this, regardless of sets, he's 2-0. Rafa is 0-2, and then Taylor and Felix play.
Yeah, and I think Ruud wins the group by virtue
Ruud
of
wins the group
right?
if he wins. Yeah, Ruud wins the group if he wins, and we don't have to look at sets. We don't have to look at anything.
Because of the head-to-head. He's beaten Fritz, and whoever comes second, he would have had a better head-to-head against them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is John holding up a number of matches Nadal has lost consecutively?
Rough. That's rough.
Seems like it. I mean, very coincidental, of course.
It is, 4. You're quite right. Does anybody have the stats on the last time Rafa lost 4 matches in a row? I did see a tweet about it, and then I lost it in the timeline.
Yeah, it was 2009. He lost the semis in Paris-Bercy to Djokovic, and he went 0-3 in his group at the ATP finals. I don't think he's lost 5 in a row before.
Maybe never. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
it's not a very Rafa thing.
Yeah, that match won't have. I mean, it could be a moral victory for Rafa if he does win, but yeah.
40 love, by the way, for Ruud. You'll find I'm saying that quite a lot. Again, a few serve plus ones. We'll touch on this comment from our producer here. Yeah, that was one of the matches of the season for me. I was so happy to see it on paper before it did happen, and then it lived up to the billing for sure. I think we had a discussion on Twitter. Yeah, we had a discussion on Twitter about it potentially being the best straight set match of the year.
Yeah, it is up there for sure. There's also Alcaraz versus Hurkacz in Miami, a really good match. This one definitely better. I would say.
Yeah, that was good. It was 2 tie breaks, right?
Yeah, 7-6, 7-6. This one was 7-5, 7-6. Felix coming back from a breakdown in both of the first 2 sets. I think Djokovic served 5-3 for both of them. And Felix obviously clawed his way back. Djokovic had to play an excellent tiebreaker, by the way, because his level that week was just so high. Like,
yeah, it was. It was. I think that's why pretty much everybody picked him over Rafa going into the French, right? Obviously, the foot injury didn't help as well, but
yeah.
Yeah, Nadal lost 6 in a row in 2003 and 2004, like at the end of the year and at the beginning. But if you only want to count, like one of them was at a challenger and one of them was qualifying for Paris. So if you only want to count main draw matches, I think that would actually be 5 as well, because then the challenger doesn't count. So yeah, he's had a streak of 5 or even 6, depending on how you count. But it was in 2003, of course. So,
wow, Jesus. Ruud had a half chance there, by the way, but misses the slice. The Ruud slice is definitely improved. I think it's something that, again, helps him find forehands even on a hard court, because if you can't slice the backhand back well enough off a slice, which is generally the response to a slice, then you give Ruud time to run around to his forehand. So it would be a great shot for him to add to his arsenal. It is sort of there, but I don't see him whip it out as much as he should, for sure.
Yeah, that's the Ash Barty sort of deal, right? That you slice the forehand in order to get a weaker response, slice the backhand to get a weaker response and run around the forehand. And it's, of course, very, it gives you a lot of success if you can do it right, for sure.
Yeah, Berrettini also does that, right? Quite a bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he does.
Weird second serve from Fritz, but worked. Okay, bad forehand miss.
Terrible, yeah, pretty bad. So we're at 30 all at the moment. Fritz just mimicking the shoulder motion he should have used to get through that forehand. He does do a little bit of that, talking to his camp. First serve down the tee, perfect though. What was the speed on that? 216 kilometers an hour. Yep. So yeah, 40-30, unreturnable serve. Whew.
Yeah, that's his best serve down the tee from the deuce side.
I was saying that, yeah, Shahari, and then the opposite for Rudy, likes the slider a bit more. Fritz only, Ruud only just getting that return back into play, but it turns out to be an easy put away for Taylor, who closes it down at the net and puts away an overhead.
That was a pretty big hole.
It was, because it could have been a bit dangerous if he hadn't hit that massive serve down the tee. So we're at 4-3 now, 3-4 with Ruud serving. Yeah, John, just clarifying that there. Qualification for Ruud is set, and number 1 in the group is set. So on the other side of the draw, who's he most likely to play at the moment? Does anybody know off the top of their heads?
Very hard.
I think we'll have a similar scenario there if Djokovic wins tomorrow. Whoever wins tomorrow, I guess, wins the group by virtue of head-to-head.
Yeah, so I mean, if we assume who's Novak against tomorrow?
Rublev?
Rublev, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Rublev. And Medvedev against Tsitsipas.
I guess pray for my boy Rublev right now.
Who does Casper want to play as the number 2 winner from that group? I would say
not Djokovic.
Not Djokovic, yeah. Not Medvedev either. That's also
he wouldn't want either of them.
Tsitsipas probably.
Maybe he did beat Rublev last year.
He beat,
right?
yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 7-6 in the third, something like that. It was
2-6, 7-5, 7-6. Yeah, and Rublev was up a break in both the second and third sets. It was a really good win for Casper Ruud. He was also 0-4, I think, going into that match against Rublev lifetime, which was, again, a win you could point at and say was really impressive. And yeah, he did. Yeah, last year he lost to both Djokovic and Medvedev. He doesn't want to play either of them. But then again, I'm wondering, since Ruud's serve out wide from the due size improved that much, can he trouble Medvedev in that matchup? Probably not as much. I don't think he
He
has.
should be able to find something for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he can get it.
Has he had any close matches against him? I'm very intrigued now. I'm going to look it up. They've had any meetings this year. I can't recall any.
Ruud and Medvedev haven't faced each other this year.
Yeah, 3 wins for Medvedev over the last 2 years, so not this year, but 2021.
Yeah, one was the ATP Cup 2020. The other was in Mallorca on grass.
And the most important, of course, their meeting last year at the ATP finals, where Medvedev won 6-4, 6-2 in the semis.
Yeah, it was really comfortable for Medvedev. He was not troubled at all.
Do you know why we call the 6-3, 6-4 scoreline the Novak scoreline? Count the number of times that Medvedev wins 6-2, 6-4, or 6-4, 6-2 over the last couple of years, and you'll find it's quite a lot. Yeah, that seems to be the Medvedev scoreline for me. It's the one I always see.
Even numbers.
I'm pretty sure he's won like 16. I counted it up. It's like 16 matches or so over the last 3 years. 6-4, 6-2, or 6-2, 6-4. Similar numbers to Djokovic on 6-3, 6-4, or 6-4, 6-3. I am getting lost down a rabbit hole, but by the way, guys, I think we should probably get back to the match. Although it is 40 love to Ruud on his serve. No surprise there, as he looks
that's
like
that's exactly what I was talking about with that match between Cressy and Otte. I mean, it was just everything was going so cleanly for the guys who served that we basically started talking about some completely different stuff. And yeah, this is happening here as well.
Fritz with a brilliant forehand, actually. I thought that he'd pushed that wide, so he does manage to claw 1 service point back.
That was in? Really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was sure that had went out. But yeah, 40-15 now. Again, Ruud on his more important side, or his stronger side, I would say. Does get a serve out wide. Fast enough into the Fritz forehand to force the error, so we're now at 4-all.
Yeah. Fritz is definitely playing his best points when he's like 15-40 down, 0-40 down. Yeah, on return at least. I mean,
I think Shrihari's doing the same thing as me there. I'm getting rid of that comment. Sorry, Shrihari. Ashley, yeah, if you could see one mixed doubles pair at AO, your dream pairing, what would it be?
Ooh.
You can mull on that for a while if you like, but while we get through this service game.
I'll sit on it for a little bit.
Cool. Second serve for Taylor Fritz, by the way, as he pushes this. That was in, okay. Sorry, they're in an extended rally now. Slice from Ruud. Big forehand inside in from Fritz, in control of the point. Yeah, forces the forehand error there to go 15 love up. So no danger, really. That's it. I mean, they're showing a replay of the second serve, and it was out. I said that. Okay, right, cool. Like, whatever. I should be a line judge, honestly. 15 love. Fritz with another second serve. Oh,
but you thought that Fritz forehand was out, right? So
yeah, that's true. That's true as well, exactly. Yeah. So a 50% record isn't going to cut it as a line judge, right, Damien? What website is this stream on? Somebody's asking. Is anybody in YouTube and Twitch and Facebook?
Unless he means the match.
That makes way more sense because he's watching from Twitch. I was thinking that. You can watch it on Tennis TV. You can watch it on Prime. You can watch it on... I don't know any other websites you can watch it on, actually.
Yeah. In some countries, it's going to be like the local TV channels, but, Tennis TV, I think, is the most universal.
And Damien's watching it on shadytennis.com.
Oh, no.
5-4, by the way, as Fritz gets a hold to love. Ashley, did you have any thoughts about that question we had from John earlier?
Yes. So,
just very quickly, sorry, I'll address that. It's illegal to do that. Go on, Ashley.
Yeah, for sure. I thought about it for a little bit, and honestly, I would kind of like to see Coco who has like a really good net game and stuff like that. And possibly, I just had this player's name in my head and I lost it. Dang it. Coco. No, I got it. Coco and potentially Chris Eubanks. I don't know if they've played together
cool.
yet, but that would be kind of a fun little pairing there. I also like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go on. I was literally just gonna say Chris has got the weaponry to support Coco in a mixed doubles match for sure.
They played the US Open in 2018, apparently. Chris has only played 2 mixed doubles slams, and both were the US Open, one this year with Alicia Parks, and the other one with Coco Gauff in 2018. So Gauff must have been like 10 back then.
She was like 14, I think.
14.
So
that was the year when she had a big run at Wimbledon.
Yeah, so now I got to think of another pairing because I didn't know that they had played together.
Or even the year before that, right? The year before that. Yeah, the year before that. Never mind.
So,
Are you going to go for a compatriot, Ashley? Probably.
I'm gonna sit on it again for a little bit. I'm gonna sit on it again because I'm gonna think a little bit.
Yeah, you come back to us as Taylor Fritz pushes a forehand inside out wide. I think I just saw him mouthing the words hit a backhand, basically. Something to that effect. He certainly said something about the backhand, which does make sense. He skipped around it fairly far there. Again, yeah, trust in the backhand a bit, Taylor. I mean, as we say, he should be winning those matchups. 15 love for Ruud. He can't have dropped a point on serve for a while now, right? I'd like to see the consecutive points on serve. Second serve into the net.
Well, he's just
dropped the commentator. There we go. I'll check it out though, because he's generally been pretty tight in this set. Fritz definitely has upped his level, but I would still say, Ruud's been the better player again in this set. He's been very clinical. He has dropped just the 8 points in serve. 7 points in serve, sorry. That's more than I thought it was.
Yeah, because the first game was tight, right? That he dropped 5-4 there, something like that, right?
Yeah, there was break points, wasn't there? 3 break points.
5 points, if I'm counting correctly. And since then he was on a streak of 3, 7, 11, 14 points on serve, 1 in a row. Yeah.
Jeez,
8 aces for Ruud already as well.
What? Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. There you go. Yeah, a lot of people underrating the spot serving of Casper, but honestly, yeah, he's great. He's great at that. That's why he's so good on hard courts. 30 all, by the way, as Ruud pushes a forehand wide. We are at a little bit of a squeaky moment. Happy to talk through this, see if Casper delivers the goods from a dangerous position. First serve down the tee. He's got him with that pretty much every time, actually. So that as I was saying earlier, his favourite serve is the slider. Fritz was raging the first time he got him with that at a dangerous point in the match. He's done it again. I imagine Fritz will be absolutely livid with himself for not covering that.
Yeah. 9th ace, and a lot of them have come in pressure points like this, right? The break points that he saved, the 15-30 opportunity in the opening set where he hit 2 in a row. Yeah.
Second serve here at 40-30. Loses this point, of course, he's in a bit of a tighter spot. However, second serve to the backhand. Ruud determined to get the forehand. Gives Taylor a pretty easy offensive forehand. Fritz in at the net. Should go for the overhead, but doesn't because it's just pushed wide from Casper's from Casper's lob. So it is now juice. Casper having a word with his camp. Anybody get audio on? No idea what that was. Something about the racket anyway.
What I've learned today, Jack is a very good leap reader. That's the thing I'm gonna remember from.
I mean, we've not had anything confirmed. I don't know if I'm right. I'm just guessing, David.
I believe you. You're doing it so. You're doing it so in a very believable fashion, and I actually trust you. Yeah.
I think I'm right. Oh, but Fritz great backhand there, gets a forehand inside out. He's on top of the point at deuce. This could be massive. Gets a forehand really deep, goes for a forehand drop shot. Casper onto it though, but he pushes it long. So we're at set point finally. A bit of drama. So that second serve double fault at 15 love proving potentially crucial.
Yeah, that drop shot there was perhaps maybe not perfectly executed, but it was like, the sheer idea was great. It was so unexpected that it didn't really matter.
Yeah, I think anything there, execution-wise, would have been good enough given Ruud was on the back foot.
Yeah, when Fritz has that sort of a lead in a point, you don't really expect a forehand drop shot from him.
Yes, but I mean, obviously his forehand's big enough that you have to cover it from the back of the court, right?
Yeah.
Second serve on set point here, as Casper goes down the tee with the second serve, Novak style, backhands cross court. Ruud only getting his back by the skin of his teeth. Taylor back in a fence with another backhand cross court. Fritz with the first forehand of that part of the rally. They're trading down the middle at the moment. Ruud tries to take control with a forehand cross court and he nets it. So we're now at a set apiece. Not the best set in the world, though, I will say. But at least we've got a bit of a contest in our hands. And I hope that that's indicative of the general level being raised a little bit. And we could have a fairly interesting third set in our hands. Who do we pick from here, guys? Or is it just a coin toss? For me, it's a coin toss, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they're both serving well enough. There was a few glimmers where Fritz's backhand came to the party and it made a difference at juice there. It made a difference earlier on in that game. There's a chance that could be the difference. We talked about it at the start of the match, right, Damien? Maybe our prediction will be coming true here. I said straight set, to be fair, not 3 sets, but
he did win a couple of longer points at the end of the last game as well, which I think is very I don't know if reassuring, but just should fill him with some confidence when it comes to the decider. What happens if Fritz wins this one? Fritz beat Nadal in 2, right? So he'd be at 4-1 in sets. And Ruud, he also beat Felix in 2, so he'd be at 3-2. And who else is there? Yeah, Felix, and he's at 2, and he would be at 2-2. So I guess even Fritz wouldn't have it yet, right? Because if Felix would beat him 5-2, and then Ruud beat Nadal, yeah. So if Fritz wins, then it's gonna be really anyone's game but Nadal's on what day will it be? Thursday? Yeah, today is Tuesday. Yeah, so Thursday.
Look at the unreturned serve rate from the two of them there. Even 12 out of 30 for Casper's is pretty good, but 13 out of 24, so less than half of Fritz's serves coming back there. Really, really covering himself well. How many break points in Fritz's serve there? Any? I don't think there was any, right?
In the second set? No, definitely not.
Almost certainly not, right?
No, I don't think there was a game that even went to deuce or anything. Probably just
there was 1 to 30, right? And I think that was it.
Yeah. Second set, he was just winning everything so cleanly. 4 points lost only, actually, and 94% on first serve. Yeah, 15 out of 16 on first serve. Didn't realize that it was just this dominant, but I think it really fits what we've been saying in this, what we've been saying and watching in this match so far. It's basically just been one sloppy game each, and that's how we got to that third set.
Ashley, who did you pick to win the match, and who are you picking now?
I picked Fritz in 3, so my prediction is still safe at the moment. Like y'all have said, I think this is pretty much a coin toss at the moment. Yeah. I think whoever comes out serving well, I think Fritz is serving first. Could be whoever comes out serving well, and whoever just has a cleaner performance overall, I think is going to take this set. By the way, I do have my doubles pairing. All right. I don't think this pairing has played yet. Hopefully not. If they have, I'm sticking with the answer. But I would be interested because they've both said in the past that they would be interested in playing, or passive aggressively, so that they'd be interested in playing with each other. But Nick Kyrgios and Naomi Osaka, I think that would just be fun. I like to see, because Nick clearly likes playing tennis when there's somebody else on the court, whether it's regular doubles or with Thanasi Kokkinakis, or when he played with Venus at Wimbledon last year. I think he just likes playing with somebody on the court, rather it be him by himself. So I would be interested, because Naomi Osaka has a kind of calmer demeanor on court, and I wonder if playing with Nick would bring like a little bit of fire or zip to her. And I think both of them are pretty decent returners. Both of them have obviously really good serves. Nick is the better volleyer, I think, than Naomi. So I would just be interested to see how they pair well together.
You're safe there, because Osaka has only played mixed in Hopman Cup with Sugita. She hasn't played any Grand Slams.
Really? Yeah, just get Naomi in the mixed in general, right? I think she would enjoy that. She doesn't play anywhere near enough doubles, so I'm sure she would quite like that, given obviously her enjoyment of the sport is such a massive factor for her. So
yeah,
I want to try showing this hilarious video I just bumped into on Twitter. Not sure if I can share screen and show video. Let's see if it works.
Wow.
Let it roll across the floor.
You guys are able to guess which players they were?
yeah, I mean that was Novak, Medvedev, Steph, Rublev.
I think the first
Rublev.
one was Karatsev, right? Yeah, it was Karatsev.
Was it? All right, I thought Novak.
Yeah,
was
I didn't
Karatsev
see the
eye.
first. I didn't see like the
best
first
Zverev just
frame.
pulling up his shirt
Can-
all the way up.
Zverev,
Can you show Karatsev? Can you show Karatsev again? Because I don't think
Yes, yes.
I was sure it was Novak.
Pretty sure it was Karatsev. Yeah, this looks like Karatsev.
Oh
doesn't
yeah,
it?
it has to be with the calves.
Yeah,
It
the
has
calves.
to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Although that's probably like the worst, drawing in there. Like it's really tough to get who it is if not for the calves, I think. Although
just saw
the
the
return
eye.
position is really, really tells you that it is Karatsev.
Love the Medvedev ones. It's funny.
Yeah, but I think Tsitsipas was the best.
Yeah, Steph,
Yeah.
the legs, the way he's just bouncing around.
Recollections of his match
This is
against
Zverev.
his match against Opelka last year. He could not stop. As soon as he plays a server that's just gonna spot serve him to the high heavens, he moves like crazy. He's just like trying to. I don't know what he's doing.
Rublev.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Back to the match, of course. Has the third set started? I'm assuming it has.
Yeah.
It has
Second game already, yeah.
hold to 15 for Fritz and 30 love for Casper Ruud at the moment. Fritz with a great forehand return, though, to be fair, to make this game interesting. Potentially manages to get it deep enough to force a half volley wide from Ruud.
Yeah, Fritz has definitely caught a bit of momentum here. All the longer rallies that we've seen recently, he's been winning. I mean, if he can actually, it's funny that Fritz has to get Ruud involved in longer rallies, but that's actually what we're seeing here. I mean,
I know, yeah, but no, you're right. In this matchup, definitely Fritz would prefer the longer rallies.
on this court at least, of course, because on clay with his movement, that would be, yeah. But here it's really about not giving Casper just a safe holds with how well he's been serving, of course.
Great serve from Ruud there, by the way. The challenge showing that the ball did just clip the outside edge of the line, so we're now at 40-15.
Did your eagle eye tell you that it was in or not?
I thought it was in, but I had no idea, Damien. It looked more in than that for sure on the camera. Also, the camera is so unreliable, Damien. I feel like you see balls that look clearly in, and then you see a replay of it on Hawkeye, and it's nothing like what you thought it was.
Or maybe the Hawkeye is actually unreliable. I mean, there are a lot of people who say that, Hawkeye is basically like a number of cameras, and if just one of them is misplaced, if just one of them, the position of one of them moves, it basically becomes like useless. So I don't know.
Well, the margin for error is 2.7 millimeters.
Yeah, that's true
That's
as well.
something.
So in that Ruud serve that we just had, I'm not sure if it was more than that.
It was close, actually. Yeah, it wasn't far. Hold for Ruud in the end, by the way, to go 1-1. They're locked in an extended rally at the moment with Ruud dominating the point. Looks like he should take it. Has the chance to Joko smash, but gets it perfect. That wasn't easy. Gets it right in the corner there for Love 15 on Fritz's serve. What's this Scott Barkley tweet that we're looking at? Anything to do with Andy in there? There is. I'll tweet this every year until they agree to do a second series. The ATP finals would be so much better if Monfils and Andy Murray did Twitch commentary on the tournament again. Absolutely. I'd love that, actually. Monfils and Andy's banter is top tier. It's good.
I think Scott would enjoy it if he played more, but I guess okay.
I don't know if Scott would enjoy Andy being in the tournament, given Andy's recent form.
I'd agree with Ashley there. It wouldn't be much fun seeing him get destroyed by every player.
I mean, still, so you'd rather Andy didn't play the ATP finals than I don't know. I think still playing the ATP finals is just such a big.
Well, obviously,
achievement.
If a top 8 season had preceded that, Damien, then absolutely, by all means, go to the
ATP. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know they did that one time around, but I'm always interested to where they have like a separate broadcast to where like former players or current players talk about the game. Maybe they brought on guests. That'd be kind of quirky too. I don't know if they did that, but I'm here for it. I'm here for anything Andy. Well, not anything Andy Murray, but like anytime Andy and Gail get together, it's a fun time. So I'm here for it.
I'm gonna make a call in this one here, Damien. I thought that was wide. You're challenging my eagle-eyedness. We'll find out in a second, but that looked wide to me. Fritz challenges though, first serve down the tee, and it is
in. I think
that is perfectly on the line. See, there you go.
I have it a little bit of a delay, but from my stream, I would definitely have said in. But yeah, as you said, the camera is often unreliable, so can't really.
That was a big point, by the way, viewers. That was 15-30, so we're now at 30 all. Still fairly big for Ruud. Maybe the one chance he'll get for a while. Chip returns long, unfortunately, though, on the forehand, so we're now 40-30. And all of a sudden, very little danger on the Fritz serve. What's this here from our producer? My favourite part was when they had Medvedev on right after he won in 2020 and was talking about his no celebration. Favourite part of what? Sorry.
Monfils Murray, I guess. I don't know.
Ah, right. I didn't know he went on.
I don't know. I didn't know that either, but I'm guessing that it's it makes sense that it's about that.
Must be, right? Yeah, the Monfils Andy saga coming in 2020 during the pandemic. So yeah, that's amazing. I gotta watch that. That sounds really good. Easy hold not easy, but a hold in the end for Fritz. So we're now at 2-1 in the third set with Ruud trying to hold on. Yeah, there's been moments in this match, but they've been few and far between. Even if we went to a third set tiebreak, it wouldn't feel quite the same as the Rublev-Medvedev match, which honestly I rated. I think Medvedev's just conducive to fairly good tennis, given that he's able to get more balls in play than most players. So I'm looking forward to another Medvedev match tomorrow. Who are they playing tomorrow, Damien or Ashley? Do we know what matches we have in store for the viewers tomorrow?
I think it's
ATP finals.
ATP. I think it's Djokovic, Andre, and then Steph and Medvedev.
Yes.
The winners play each other and the losers play each other. That's how it's always done. So it has to be like that.
Look at me getting stuff right. Look at me.
I didn't know that actually, Damon. The winners play each other and the losers play each other.
It's not like set in stone beforehand. It's the same at other round robin events like next gen finals. The same, like that they're actually waiting for the first couple of results to determine who's gonna play in the second tie. Yeah,
cool.
And that's why we like almost always get that not almost always, but that's why a lot of time we get that situation where there's going to be a straight up shootout for second place and a dead rubber, which is definitely something that we don't enjoy about the this format. Well, at least the dead rubbers, but yeah, that's how it works. They wait for the results to actually decide who's going to play on the second day.
Yeah, I can't recall any good dead rubbers at the ATP finals off the top of my head.
I'm pretty sure there's been some. I think Nadal and Tsitsipas maybe played one, or maybe for just one of them it was a dead rubber. I can't remember, but we definitely had some great matches for second place.
Surely that wasn't a dead rubber, the Rafa Steph one, because that was a very good match. Did Rafa not pull off a comeback? I think he did.
Let me see which year that even is, because I'm
2019.
not sure. 2019. Yeah, that's what it seemed to me. Yeah, and I think it was a dead rubber. I think it was
Did Rafa not have a chance?
Okay,
Yeah.
Nadal had a chance. Okay, Nadal must have had a chance, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Or maybe not, because
I think it was it not determined on what happened in the other match, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it was dead for Tsitsipas. I'm pretty sure about that, but
yeah, because he ended up winning the tournament. Of course, it didn't matter what happened for him, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. Tsitsipas was two. Tsitsipas went to his first two matches.
No,
in
that
straights.
wasn't a dead rubber actually.
For Nadal, it wasn't.
Yeah, Nadal still had a chance if he did win in straight sets,
Okay.
but Zverev winning the first set put him through, I think.
Okay.
No, actually, Zverev had to win, right? If Zverev did go 1-2, he did lose to Tsitsipas. If Medvedev had beaten him, Nadal would have gone through. So
Okay.
Zverev won, and then his head-to-head against Nadal was what put him through.
The long and
So
short.
it wasn't straight up dead. It was just dead for Tsitsipas, but not for Nadal.
Yeah.
Okay.
The long and short of it, basically, I still can't recall a decent dead rubber at the ATP finals. Love 15. Could we be seeing the makings of a break here? Fairly loose forehand from Taylor Fritz there. I'll talk through what's happening at this point in case it does end up being an important one. First serve out wide. Ruud only just gets it back. He's still on the back foot though. Couldn't quite neutralise it. Fritz with a big forehand cross court. Ruud keeps it deep enough to neutralise the point though, so he is in this one. They're trading backhands cross court. Taylor goes inside in with his forehand though after running round. Gets another forehand cross court after a short ball. Ruud with an amazing defence here, slows it down with a slice, another slice to keep the pace a little bit slower cross court. Ruud not really getting a chance to play offense at all though, still on the back foot in some ways. Slices cross court to keep Fritz at bay. Big backhand down the line from Casper, followed by a drop shot. He's in control of the point, has a backhand down the line, but Fritz with great reactions to send the volley cross court and win the point for 15-all. Big point there, probably the rally of the match.
Yeah, I'm still watching it, but
sorry, I'm a little bit.
No worries. I mean, I really don't mind that. I'm just gonna have a little bit of a delay in how I can speak about the point. But yeah, definitely it has to be the longest rally, right? And quite key because 0-15, I think, even when it comes to stats, drops your percentage of potentially winning the game, potentially holding by like 20 or 30%, and 0-30 of course is already a massive deficit, especially in this match where it seems like there's just one break each set, and that's the most we can get.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's about not quite as much as 30 actually. I think you're right, about 20% or so it's pretty massive. 31 shots there. Casper Ruud playing amazing defense and took his opportunity with a backhand down the line to turn the point around. But yeah, Taylor with some wheels there to get to the drop shot. Great serve +1 there for Fritz, essentially eliminating any danger. Puts it away with a smash. So we're now at 30-15. For a second there, a bit of life in the match yet. Did enjoy that one, I gotta say. Did you see that there, Ashley?
I did. I was looking at it. Sorry, I reacted kind of weirdly because I was trying to fix my hat. But I did catch that. Yes,
I was like, these boys aren't putting you to sleep, are they?
No. I was like trying to fix my hat. I was trying to make sure I didn't like. Because normally when I watch tennis, like if something like surprises me, I like say a cuss word, and I realize that I am on a somewhat professional stream. I didn't want to be like, ooh, and I'm like, oh. So that's why I kind of paused myself there. But yeah,
we're semi-professionals here, Ashley. We're you cuss away. We can bleep it out there.
No blue ticks in here, so
Yeah, exactly. No blue ticks here.
No blue
You're quite right. 40-30, by the way. Great point there from Casper. Managing to get a pretty big second serve into play there. Fritz with a first serve. I'll just let you know in case he holds here. First serve out wide. Casper gets it back into play. Goes for the serve +1 inside in. Probably the wrong time to pull or the wrong direction to pull the trigger. Quite a risky serve +1 given where he was in the court. And we're now at deuce. Can't remember the last time we were at deuce on a Fritz service game. I might do a little bit of scouting to see if I can find a dead rubber that was of any note at all.
yeah, I tried to look at it too, but it's quite hard because you actually have to do the maths.
Yeah, to know if it was a dead rubber or not. I'm just going to rely on
have a list.
Well, I was hoping I could rely on memory to know which ones were dead rubbers and which ones weren't, but I don't know if it'll be as easy as that.
Yeah.
Fritz pushes a forehand long, and we're on break point.
I think Djokovic Nori was a dead rubber last year, but that was not good.
No, that was that was rubbish as well. I'll talk through the break point. This is obviously the most important moment of this third set so far. Fritz with a first serve out wide, does catch the line, had it very deep there, gets a forehand inside out. Casper defending with slices. Fritz making his way forward with a forehand inside in, diving volley to save the break point though. A little bit of drama. Love it. That was a really good shot. Damien, I think the point's just ending for you now. He gets the nod of approval from Damien. You enjoy that one, Ashley?
Pretty sick.
I always enjoy a good diving volley, especially when they actually make it. Because I feel like when you dive and then you miss it, it's just like so much extra effort, and it just goes wide.
I know you put your body.
It's a bit of a desperation shot, right? You only really go for it when it's so far that you can't do it otherwise. But yeah, this was great. I mean, the really good execution. It's not really luck in this case, because I feel like a lot of volleys like that can often be a bit down to luck, but this was just really straight up done perfectly well.
Yeah, it was very good. I can't think of another diving volley this year, but I guess the best one I can think of off the top of my head is going to be the Tsitsipas one in his match against Schwartzman. I don't know if you remember that in Rome when Tsitsipas was down like 4-love, I'm pretty sure, in the third set, and he had to just play like peak tennis basically to make the comeback. Damien keeping us on track there with that noise of disapproval. Yeah,
I think that was more like approval, I guess, for Ruud's inside out for it.
Right, okay, I see. Followed up by a great serve out wide from Fritz to erase the second break point of that game. I'm going to try and mute myself a little bit. I imagine I'm getting quite a bit of feedback in the background there. Probably I'll chime in when I'm needed. Fritz missing a massive first serve there. Went for 224 kilometers per hour. Yeah, absolutely. Producer was just saying that. But it's the only dive I can think of this year. The diving volleys are few and far between. They're a bit of a rare beast in the world of tennis. I think just pushing a backhand wide there, by the way, very close down the line. What were you going to say there, Damien?
No. I said that I think there was a year, maybe 2021 or 2020. 2020 probably not, but 2021 where there were a lot of diving volleys, and like there were some compilations even. But yeah, of course.
For some reason there were a lot of diving volleys. In 2021. Yeah. Maybe people just wanted to dive right in. I don't know.
Of course, it's always Davidovich Fokina. It's always Hurkacz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Davidovich Fekina for sure. I can't remember Hurkacz doing one. Did he do one in Miami?
Oh
maybe?
no, I mean Hurkacz is like I think pretty famous for diving volleys, even on grass, especially of course. I think maybe
Oh,
even only on grass. There was this point.
Yeah,
Was it against Fritz?
Oh, it's not the one I
Was
was
it?
thinking of. I was thinking of one against Gerasimov at the Australian Open earlier this
No,
year.
but at Wimbledon, at Eastbourne, I think.
I know which one you're talking about, Jack.
It's such a
I
good
remember that
shot.
one.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Also,
There was a point on grass at Eastbourne, I think, where he made 2 diving volleys in one point. I think it was against Fritz.
Wow.
that was a big hole there for Fritzy.
Big stat there from the producer. Davidovich Fekina has dived more than all the other players on tour put together.
That sounds about right. That checks out. That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, it was Hurkacz Fritz, but it was Eastbourne 2019. Definitely should check that out with after the broadcast. He pretty much made 2 diving volleys, I think, in one point, or even a couple in one match. Yeah, he's like. If people think of diving volleys, I think Hurkacz is probably the first answer.
They're all rushing back to me now because that one against Djokovic in Wimbledon 2019, the tiebreaker, right, in the second set,
Yes.
that was huge. That was such a good one. I quite enjoy a diving volley chat, actually. Although the tennis has been pretty interesting as well. By the way, Taylor did just hold there for 3-2. He let it up a bit there to get his biggest hold of the match, I would say. So we're now seeing Casper serving at 2-3.
Yeah, and that diving volley can actually be the most important shot of the match if Fritz wins it from here.
I know, yeah, it would be good to have that framed, in context as the match saving point of the match, I guess. Fritz probably looking like the better player. I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see him using a bit of momentum here to chip away at the Casper service game.
Yeah, the first set we saw Ruud dominating so much on his service games, but even if he's still holding pretty easily here, I think it hasn't been quite as impressive. I think we're definitely seeing that there's a bit of an edge from the baseline that's actually for Fritz in these conditions, and Fritz looking like he is the likelier player to win this, but of course, it's still very close to a coin toss.
Something interesting is happening that happened in the Nishioka match, and I was just thinking it there as Casper blasted 3 forehands in a row and missed the last one. Nishioka put up such a wall against Ruud, we started to see him redline to the point of him making errors in points you wouldn't have expected him to make errors, and I wonder if we'll see the same dynamic as Fritz's level seems to have raised. He doesn't seem to be missing as much, and the backhand's way more solid. It's a weapon, as you say. I think Ruud's feeling a little bit of the danger as he goes down love 15 here at 2-3. Big. Is that second serve? No way, that was a second serve, right? Was that second serve?
That was a second serve, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it was, unless there was a let call, but I didn't see one. If there wasn't a let call, then we've just seen Casper Ruud blast down a 175 kilometer an hour serve down the tee on the love 15.
Yeah,
great.
But I think what you said about like defense, I think that's also why we were saying that Ruud probably doesn't want to face Medvedev. Excellent defenders, I think, can just maybe not very simply beat him on courts like that, but I think he doesn't quite have the pop to get through them, and that's what we saw in the Nishioka match probably. And not sure if Fritz is actually the matchup that this really comes into play, but
Again, though, to be fair, like we saw Medvedev's defense being so well navigated by Rublev, given the speed of the court. So I don't think it would be as much of a favourable matchup for Medvedev as it usually is. I think rather than it being about 80-20 for me, as harsh as that on a sort of normal, slower hard court, I would put it about 60-40.
Ruud's forehand is not as dynamic, I guess, as Rublev's. I think it of course has insane power and has insane spin, but I don't know. I don't think you can quite do what Rublev did to Medvedev.
Yeah, you're right. There were a few moments of magic from Rublev, right, in the tail end of that third set.
The tiebreak especially.
Yeah, and you trust Rublev to do that with his forehand. He's shown so many times over the years that he can come up with the goods when in pressure moments when that shot. So yeah, I mean Ruud can do the same, but he can't red line quite as high as Rublev. So.
Yeah.
Ruud comes through that game, by the way, not necessarily a dangerous one, but he was left 15. Does manage to come through unscathed. We're seeing a second serve here, big forehand return from Ruud to get in control of the point, goes for a forehand inside in and forces the error from Fritz. So slight bit of danger. Love 15, 3-all.
Feels like we're seeing a lot of love 15s right now, and in general the number of rallies has increased, but I guess it's only fair with them getting used to their serves and just getting a bit more returns into play.
I imagine the balls won't have been changed, will have been changed a fair while ago now as well, possibly.
Yeah, 7, then 2, then 7.
Too much maths.
Then 3. I guess they have been changed now, actually. I'm not sure. I wasn't looking between games.
I can't remember. I thought the count was 9, then 7, then 7, then 7, then 7.
No, it's 7, 9, 9, 9, 9 because it's 7.
Right? Sorry,
because it starts with 7 because of the warm up.
Yeah.
So, and then it's 9.
Too much maths.
Way too many numbers.
Love 30. I'll let you know what happens here because we've got love 30 and a Fritz second serve. Could be the moment Ruud runs away with this. Second serve from Fritz into Ruud backhand. Gets a serve plus 1 opportunity, and it's way too big for Ruud to even get a racket on. We're now at 15-30. I'll get onto that in a second. I'll start Vanch. I'll get onto that in a second. I'll just talk us through the rest of this game first as Fritz steps up at 15-30 in his own serve. Possibly dangerous time for the American. Big first serve out wide. Gets himself the serve plus 1 advantage and the easy put away. So we're now on 30-all. The game not looking so dangerous all of a sudden with 2 rat-a-tat-tat points in a row.
Rat-a-tat-tat points. That's my new favorite thing.
Just it flowed off the tongue for some reason. Actually, no idea where it came from. First serve out wide, just pushed wide by Taylor. So we're now on second serve, 30-all. Casper probably looking for the forehand here. Does get it into play. Taylor with a backhand, Casper with a forehand. Casper in control, and he pushes that one wide, kind of out of nowhere. 40-30. We've been at 30-all a lot, and then as soon as it gets to 40-30, I mean, that's the game over, right?
I mean, so far, well, recently, it's been that way.
Yeah. Who do you think wins, says Logan Sampson? We were saying... I can't even remember who I said that. I'm pretty sure I said Fritz. I'm going to stick with Fritz as he holds for 4-3. Yeah,
you said I think you said Fritz in straights. I said Fritz in 3.
Yeah.
And then I think Damien also said Fritz, but I'm not sure in how many sets.
Yeah, I don't think I clarified it, like how many sets, but I think if you were to ask me before the broadcast, I would say Fritz in 2 for sure. So yeah, that's gone. I still think Fritz is more likely to win the match, but yeah, it's very close to a coin toss now. Basically, he has the advantage of serving first, and that's really it. I mean, in the third set so far, they've been very evenly matched. There's as we said, there's really an increased number of rallies and players getting to do some damage and on return at least.
Yeah. John asks if you could have anyone as your tactical tennis coach, just focusing on how to beat an opponent from talking tennis. Who would it be? John's gone for Vanch.
No one pick me.
I'm gonna. Well, do you know? Actually, I, for similar reasons, I'd be close to picking you, but I'm gonna go for Jethro just because I know Jethro would be a big hype man. It wouldn't even be about the tactics at that point. He'd just be. He's a really good hype man, right?
No, but the question is about the tactical tennis coach. So you're not really giving an answer there, unless you think it's Jeffro as well, and then yeah.
No, it's a total cop out, Damien. It's not based on tactics at all. Although I imagine Jeffro would you see, Jeffrey would deliver tactical tennis coaching. It could be good or bad, but it would all be done in a very hype man way. It would all be done in a very hypey way, and it would make me feel good. So I'm gonna go for Jeffrey.
This is Scott. Scott's going to just yell at you to go into the net like you did yesterday.
Yeah, he's yelling at Daniel. That was definitely minus points for Scott as a tactical tennis coach. I'll say that.
Yeah. For me, honestly, it's a. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead, Damien. I don't have.
No,
I
was just replying to the question because I hadn't yet. Yeah, for me it's super tough. I will cop out as well and say myself. Like I feel like in my matches I do tend to like understand what I have to do, just not have the ability to do it. I think that's my matches basically. Yeah. There's this one guy who I've played with though who was just so insane at this. Like we talked about after playing, and he started for like 5 minutes telling me what he was trying to do and like what I was trying to do wrong. I think he would be a fantastic coach. Like just based on that, he had such elite understanding of the game, and I was super impressed by that. But I don't think he's in talking tennis. So yeah.
I don't know. I could say myself, but I don't play tennis like that often. I understand the tactics. I understand like, add court, deuce court, which you should probably do based on what your opponent is giving you in a match. And I can probably like talk my way through it. But like, honestly, I'll be sitting there like, bro, I'm confused. I'm just as confused as you, dude. like, go out there and start swinging. Like, see what happens. Go out there and start maybe not me, because I will eventually just be like, bro, just swing for the fences and see what happens. Just swing for that.
You'd 100% be on tennis TV. You're on tennis TV, bro.
Yeah. Maybe I like Vance. Vance has the tactics down. I feel like Jack also has the tactics down.
Thanks,
I feel like those would be my two picks, and Vance and Jack. But I can't speak.
I'm sure me and Vance could work out some sort of two for the price of one deal. I don't think we're taken by anybody else, Ashley. So if you want to hire us both,
listen, can y'all do free dollars and free cents? I have $3.
I'm like $1 and like 65 cents. Then I guess, but for the two of us, that's not bad. It's I might take that.
I'm not gonna offer you guys a salary, but you can take like 90% of my winnings. That's fine.
I'm
not gonna have any winnings anyway.
Yeah, that's actually fair enough.
Oh god. I feel like either whoever is available out of the two of you, Vance or Jack, I'm fun to work with. I'm very chaotic, but I'm fun. I have a decent serve. That's about all I got. A decent serve and a somewhat not disgusting forehand. Everything else is disgusting, but we can start from there. Everything else is disgusting.
Nobody's game is disgusting. Actually, I'm definitely a believer in that. I'm a big fan of Medvedev's forehand. Big fan of the Benoit Paire forehand, etc. I think they're all beautiful in their own way. Taylor Fritz is romping through his service game, by the way. It's 30 love at the moment. Going for a second serve. Ruud also held fairly easily. We are at the business end of the match, though. So it'll get interesting in a second, regardless of what happens. Second serve return missed. So it's 40 love. John there, just pointing out, liked Damien correcting me on Jeffro regarding tactical coach, but then undid all his good work when he said, I'll take me. Which is fair enough. You can't coach yourself, Damien.
I mean, I can't remember what the exact phrasing of the question was, but it seemed to me like this is a viable answer. And yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I would just like to give it a shot. Like I'm really interested how I would like fare in this. Obviously, I don't have any like technical knowledge whatsoever. So yeah, being a coach is, at least at the elite level, is probably not going to be for me in any
You'll have
in
some
any shape or form. But
You'll have some
yeah.
technical knowledge, but just by osmosis of being so close to the sport for so long, 100%. You'll have
I
some
mean,
technical knowledge of it.
it's not actual knowledge you can get to. You can give to a player. Like I wouldn't be able to just go to a top 100 guy and say, this is wrong with your forehead, or unless it's Daniel Medvedev or Benoit Paire. Yeah. But I would like to give it a shot. Like I'm really interested in how I would fare in this, although it's never gonna happen. But yeah, certainly something that.
Listen,
that's why I said myself. Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm just glad that I was on Jack's list. I'm glad I was on anyone's list.
I was on someone's list as well. Mine or my own.
I'm just glad to make the list. I'm just glad to be here. Happy to be here. Me and my visor. It's giving very much tennis coach with the visor, So I could probably pull it off. You probably only ever see me in visors, so that way I can just do it like this if you mess up. And just look in shame.
I genuinely, I stand by my pick in some ways. Obviously, I'd revise it if I actually wanted to win matches. Sorry, Jethro, but I like a coach who hypes you up a bit. I like getting a bit fired up on court because I feel like the quieter I stay, I'm a bit Andy in that way. The quieter I stay, the more it bottles up and the worse I get. So I need somebody to kind of help me vent it a bit for sure. By the way, Ruud lost that game to Love, so it's now 4-5. He's serving here, and Fritz has a second serve to work with as Ruud serves to stay in the match. I'll talk through this one very quickly before we talk more about Jeffro's bad coaching. Second serve return from Taylor Fritz. Backhands down the line from Ruud. That was a massive backhand down the line. Could be quite important as well. Forces the error, and it's now 15-love.
Yeah, there could be serious scoreboard pressure here if Ruud falls behind in the game, of course. But yeah, that backhand is
that pretty much
was certainly
erased that pressure, right? I mean, that was a huge backhand down the line.
Oh, not the look of shame. I generally, my look of shame is literally just sometimes like how my face is. Like I have a bad case of RBF, and people would be like, "Are you okay? Are you upset about something?" I'm like, no, I'm just chilling. And they're like, "You look mad." I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm not mad." But the look of shame would literally just be side-eyeing. You're like, darn well you should never did that. You know why that was wrong. Like if they ever let players talk to their coaches like they did when like that Ultimate Tennis Showdown was a thing back in 2020, I would literally, if they mess up, be like, "You know why you did that? You know why that was wrong? Why are you talking to me? You know exactly what you did wrong." But let's get it together. We're gonna be okay.
It's interesting, actually. It's funny you're saying that because it's like every time Taylor Fritz makes a mistake, and he does this quite a lot in his matches, we've just seen it there again. He like shadows what he should have done. And it's like, I imagine the coaches have very little input for him. He likes to chat to himself. He likes to tell himself what he did wrong. Again, the coaches are just there as hype men, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hype you up, but not when you make a mistake. I'm going to sit there and look at you like, what are we doing here? And if I don't have any answers, I'm just going to tell you to swing. Just swing for the fences and hope something sticks.
Is RBF resting?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. RSF is resting shame face.
Okay.
Ashley's coaching style.
Not RSF. My coaching is just conveyed through looks. That's just what it is.
That's the power of acting all comes in silence. It's the same for coaching. You can say a lot without saying anything. 5-all, by the way.
But we are talking about me here. We are talking about me. I'd say too much sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's just on new balls now, by the way. I assume because they both went to grab a new racket. So now 5-all in third set with a hold to love from Ruud. And Taylor Fritz kicks us off with an unreturnable serve down the tee. Third set tiebreak, guys. Do we have the same hype around that as the Medvedev-Rublev one?
I would like to see a tiebreak. I feel like
so would I. Yeah.
I feel like it's heading towards a tiebreak. I'm not sure if it would be as hype, but who knows? It could be some wild things happening in that tiebreak. But I would be interested in seeing a tiebreak.
We've had a few moments of magic in the match. They've, particularly in this third set, I think this has probably been the most interesting third set. Both players are now playing pretty well, so who knows? Big first serve out wide from Fritz to get himself to 40 love. How many times have I said that this match?
I don't know, but we can go back and count. We can go back and count.
No need, Ashley. Definitely purely rhetorical there. There's certainly been many holds to love, was my point. As Taylor with the big second serve out wide doesn't quite force the error, sorry. Oh, no, he does. Yes, he does. So it's a hold to love. Tiebreak we go. Casper certainly not prone to nerves, so I would say so.
We'll see. I'd like to see it.
Let's start talking about who would be the favourite there, right? Who's got the better tiebreak record this year? I can look up Taylor's if somebody else wants to look up Casper's very quickly. My gut feeling is that Taylor probably has the not just.
I think Fritz had a lot of tie breaks recently.
Yeah,
which
so did I. So did I.
Tokyo final, right, against FO.
Yep,
I believe. Yeah, I believe he should have
breaking
a good
the
record. I don't know if
breaking the TFO breaking the TFO tiebreak streak as well, right? So I mean that's got to count for something too.
Yeah,
trying to find the option. I'll tell you now.
Jesus, Ruud has had a lot of tiebreaks.
Yeah, Taylor's won a lot. I can only see the matches. I've looked it up on Tennis Abstract.
Yeah, I think you have to count it manually, which is, well, I'm probably going to make like 10 mistakes here, and yeah.
There's too many. I'll just tell you that Taylor has won 23 of the 33 matches he's played where he's played a tiebreak.
If I counted this right, I don't know if I did. Ruud should have like about 67% tiebreaks won this year, and he's actually played a ton of them. I counted 36, I think.
You just counted 36. Jesus Christ, Damien.
Oh, I'm on the ATP site. I did it. I don't do math.
No, ATP site is definitely the solution, Ashley.
There is a percentage there, right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So according to ATPtour.com, not me, Casper Ruud tiebreaks this year is 20. He's won 24, lost 20, lost 13. So it's 65%, 64.9.
I missed it by one lost tiebreak. It was 24-12 in my head. So okay, I screwed
Look
up
at you.
something there.
Look at you being good at math and me being good at Google.
was it really math though? Like I was just, in
a deciding set, Casper is 10-7.
That's
so
right. That's not bad.
So I could look up.
Where do you see that?
So see, here's how you work Google. You type in Casper Ruud tiebreak record. And then I went to the ATP's like his page, and then if you go to win/log,
win-loss. Okay,
it's right there.
Taylor's tiebreak record this year is 22-16, so he's at 58%, which is markedly lower. I'd say
doesn't Fritz have like an excellent deciding tiebreak record? He has, right?
He does.
Yeah, he has like the best out of anyone probably.
Let's look at the ATP tour.
He does. I'm sure he does because it was a point of discussion earlier this year, for sure.
That's the point to look at, right? I'll tell you now. I'm just looking it up now. I'll give you an idea in just a second. If anybody else wants to tell us what's going on during the service game, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, we don't care about the service game. Just
it's gonna get held, right? It's like
I found it, by the way. I'm gonna let Jack
I'm
his little moment.
floundering. No, I'm floundering, Ashley. You tell us. Go ahead.
Okay. Once again, according to ATPtour.com, his
It's
deciding
there. Is
set,
it there?
yeah, it's there. His deciding set tiebreak record is 19-13, so
That's not
60-ish.
deciding tiebreak.
No, it's not.
That's
It's
deciding
set.
set.
I've
Yeah.
got it.
Oh,
I've got
tiebreak.
it.
Oh, hold on.
I've got it.
I
I've
thought I
got
had
it.
it.
I've got it. I've got
I
it. Don't
found
worry.
it. Never mind. I looked at it.
Oh, you've got it.
No. I thought I did. Never mind.
I've
Go
got
ahead.
it. I've got it here. It's 12-4.
Oh,
Taylor
Yeah.
Fritz, which
And
is
20-4 when it comes to like all levels. So even before he got to the main tour, he was not
Really?
losing deciding tiebreaks. He only lost that one to Nadal at Wimbledon this year, also against
Yes.
Donaldson, Cole Schreiber, and Giron. Yeah, Giron this year as well. Donaldson and Cole Schreiber a long way back.
That's huge, actually. And then Casper Ruud's 6-2, so it's actually 75% as well at tour level, but far fewer played. In fact, exactly half the amount played.
Yeah, this actually isn't on ATPtour.com. In this case, you need to go to Tennis Abstract. So,
in this case, you didn't. Listen, I use all of the stuff. Oh my God, ATP Tour. I use Tennis Abstract. I literally just use whatever because there's so many sites and no one has figured out that maybe we should just compile it into one place. But it's okay. It's okay.
No, yeah. To be fair, like Tennis Abstract and Ultimate Tennis Stats, they do give you a little bit more insight than ATP. There's a few things missing from it for sure.
But it's not an official resource, though, right? But still, it's excellent. If in some way, if in any way, if Jeff is watching this, we salute you. You're a great man. You've done some amazing work there.
Jeff Sackman for the viewers who don't know him. Two love, by the way, to Ruud, who benefits from a Taylor Fritz missed serve +1 forehand there. Another inside in one missed, not Fritz's most comfortable forehand. So 2-love. Ruud with the early mini break already. I'll tell you what happens at this 2-love point here. First serve down the tee, catches Fritz with that serve down the tee for the umpteenth time this match. I'd be very intrigued to hear how many of those aces have been down that tee in the juice court. And it's now 3-love. We've got our producer saying, let's get this video to 10 likes. I'm sure somebody could shoot us a wee like, right? Anybody watching, go on, give it a wee like. You know you want to.
She gave a like to it just a second ago. So one of these likes is mine.
I'm sure I could spare a like. I've got a few in the tank. Why not? Here we go.
You just be harboring likes.
Yeah, I've been saving them up for a rainy day, Ashley. There we go. A big serve from Taylor Fritz to get us to 3-1 at this very, very crucial stage of the match. Ruud's challenging. No way that was out. I'll do the bet on that one. No way that one was out, surely. Yeah, well then. That was a dumb challenge from Ruud. I don't know, maybe he wanted to buy himself a little time, just stave off a bit of momentum there. First serve from Fritz. He's taking his time. Going down the tee. He misses his favourite serve. Also second serve now. Was approaching 140 miles an hour in that one, Jesus. Ruud gets the forehand return back into play. Ruud with another forehand, offensive, that time down the middle. However, Fritz absorbs it and they're now going cross-court. Oh, Ruud going down the line with that backhand. That's a tough one to call. Is he going to challenge that? No, it is in. It's definitely in. So we're now 4-1. Big backhand down the line. Were you expecting that, guys?
Yeah, and it's also clear that Fritz is not expecting it. And the same with that backhand down the line that was in, I can't remember which game, but you remember that. We talked about it.
Yeah, we did. It was that a big moment.
Yeah, that was, this one, of course, was like on the line, but that one didn't, the one that came before didn't even have to be that perfect because Fritz was just really not expecting Ruud to go for a backhand like that. And it's been the difference maker so far.
Yeah. They're trading backhands cross-court at the moment, by the way. Neither player managing to get a forehand into play, bar one from Taylor. Fritz going down the line that was a terrible, terrible play. That looks like it's going to make the difference. I don't know if he meant to do that, actually. It looked like he wasn't trying to go down the middle, but he went down the middle with absolutely no pace, given with the chance to tee off on a forehand. and it's looking like curtains for Fritz.
Yeah, I just don't think he hit it cleanly, and it's running away from him pretty quickly.
Ruud screaming to his camp, yeah, there.
Oh no. Not again.
Just trying to get himself fired up.
Yeah.
I trusted you again. You see, you do it so well that maybe I'm just naive. I don't know.
I thought I was saying that tongue-in-cheek enough. Obviously not. It was just a bit too believable. Ruud with a massive first serve down the tee at about 135 miles an hour, but misses it by a fair margin. So second serve now, obviously pumped up from his previous second serve to the Fritz backhand, only just gets it into play. Fritz with the first offensive forehand. Casper on the run, tries to go back behind Ruud, but he's onto it. Ruud with a run around forehand, puts it down the line. But sort of seemingly out of nowhere, Ruud gets forced into a forehand error. So it's now 5-2, just the 1 mini break for Fritz to raise. But 2 service points, of course, to hold first. This is kind of exciting. That backhand down the line certainly got me a bit pumped up. A few serve plus ones from Fritz and things could get a little squeaky for Casper.
Yep.
Misses his first serve though, Fritz, at 5-2. So we're now looking at a second serve. Both players well over 130 for their first serves. Casper finds the forehand. Fritz manages to pin him into the backhand on the following shot though. Goes down the middle a bit earlier again. So now Fritz is on the run. Fritz with a great backhand cross court though on defense there. So they're now trading cross court. Oh, absolute cracker of a backhand there from Fritz to make the difference when they were locked in stalemate. That was a blistering shot there. Impressed?
Yeah, the angle there is pretty funny. That's, you don't have to go down the line, right? You can just find a ridiculous angle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what the best backhands in the world do. I don't know if Fritz is quite up there in the top 5 or so, but his backhand's still great, of course.
And it's improved a lot, right? I think a
has.
couple of years back, you could say that he was a little bit more into that American mold of serve plus one forehand players, basically, but with no backhand. But it's not far from it right now, really.
It's more about it just being a weapon every so often rather than only a shield, which it used to be, definitely. Big point here. 5-4 for Casper Ruud. Where does he go in the ad court with his serve? I think cover the forehand.
Yeah.
He does try and go down the tee, but it's a let cord, so we're now going to see another first serve from Casper. Casper with his first serve. Down the tee, as we said, enough on it to get a short ball. Casper with an overhead now, and he puts it away. 6-4. He kind of benefited from that late cord, actually, because I don't think his first serve was going to be as good as that, right?
Yeah, the placement wasn't as good. Definitely not. He's coming up with clutch serves a lot and in important moments this match. Maybe in the third set his serving hasn't been as amazing, but right now when it matters,
Yeah, when it matters most. And obviously that backhand down the line making the difference in one of the mini breaks.
Yeah.
Big first serve out wide, but missed by Casper. Goes for depth rather than the short slider. Second serve now to work with for Taylor Fritz. Fritz with a backhand inside out back to Casper's forehand. Not enough on it from Casper though, who goes a little tentative, a little loopy. They're going backhand cross court. Casper gets a few forehands in a row, goes for a tentative slice and nets it. That looked a little tight because Casper did get the serve plus one he was looking for, but he couldn't do much with the first forehand, or didn't choose to do much with the first forehand. Very loopy shots there. 6-5. Match point. Second match point. I'll certainly talk us through this one. Fritz right back in the match, obviously capable of snuffing this out in the blink of an eye. Goes first serve, out wide. Casper gets it back into play. Fritz with an offensive forehand +1. Enough pressure there for Casper's forehand to be a little off balance, and he pushes it wide for 6-all. It wasn't a choke for me. That 6-4 point. It wasn't a choke, but it was tight. I thought.
Still played a few good shots there. I mean,
Yeah.
perhaps it wasn't the perfect point. Perhaps it wasn't what he needed at that moment, but certainly nothing that's really screaming, I got tight.
Yeah. At the same time, like Rafa, I think Casper sometimes can get a little bit loopier with the forehand when he, when he's under a lot of pressure, which keeps the ball in, obviously, but can just make him look a little passive. Fritz with a great first serve down the tee, goes for a backhand inside out on the approach. Casper's shot skips off the net, so we're back to neutral again. Fritz with too much on the forehand inside out, should have left it for a while. He got pretty unlucky there because the approach was good. If Casper's shot hadn't skipped off the net, I think we would have seen Fritz win that.
Yeah, the net court was just... He was perfectly set up for the winning volley and just, got very unlucky in there.
Oofed. Big oofed. Does Casper go down the tee again in the ad court? Or set himself up for a long rally with the ad one? He tries to go down the tee again. Second serve now. Casper with his second serve. Into the Taylor forehand, nice and deep, so he gives himself a bit of an advantage. Taylor onto the next shot, but he doesn't get there in time, and he pushes his forehand long. Casper is into the ATP Finals semi-finals.
That sounds so clumsy.
The ATP Finals.
I hate it about the ATP Finals. Yeah. But he gets out of groups in first place as well, which means he very likely avoids Djokovic, giving him a very good chance to make the final of the ATP Finals as well. The ATP Finals final.
We should say the year-end championship, right?
Year-end championship is much better, or the Masters as it was in the past.
Yeah, no, I actually preferred that name, I think.
Yeah, the Masters was, I don't know. I guess we were just used to it, but I don't know what made them change it.
Yeah. Another backhand down the line making the difference. That it's not a shot that Casper goes for all the time, but we've seen it make the difference in tighter moments this year. I remember the one against Kachanov, right, in the that 60-shot rally that he had, where neither player was ever going to miss, basically, and Casper had to come up with the goods down the line. That's a really good example of one I can think of. It's still not a shot he goes for all the time, but when he needs it, you can rely on it most of the time. So that was a huge deal there, and he played a clean match for me. He served really well, and I think he'll continue to give himself a chance in any matchup he has. Even Medvedev, as I say, writes Forza on the camera with a lot of A's. He likes screaming stuff with a lot of A's, doesn't he? This Casper Ruud. Sorry, I'm trying.
That's a lot of A's. Oh wow!
Always drawing it back to the.
Can I say I told you so? Have I earned it?
You can, I guess, you're Harry, but I mean 8-6 in the third set tiebreak.
Yeah. All right. I mean, of course, it was really close, but
set number right.
You deserve some praise for not underestimating Ruud, because I think we all still sort of did, even though
I definitely did. Yeah,
Felix.
Oh no, I still stuck with Ruud. I thought he was gonna win even when he was 4-5, 5-6 in the third set. I still felt that he was going to be the clutcher player. Like you mentioned, it wasn't a choke when he did lose those 2 match points, was 5-1 up. Fritz, that backhand cross court, I think that would have been the game changer really if he would have ended up winning this match. Casper Ruud wins the group. Who would have thought he would be the first to qualify, right? It's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Do we see him winning it? Do we continue to underestimate Ruud till the
No,
end of
no, no, no.
time?
I want to shy away from that. I don't think he's winning, but
Do you know, he's got a good enough game to cover his serve. To be fair, he does give himself chances on most return games. Given his block returns, actually fairly decent. Do you know? It depends who he's up against. I still think Novak's the not heavy favourite, but the fair favourite. It's like 60-40 Djokovic or the rest of the field for me.
yeah,
so
but he would be heavy favorite against Ruud, wouldn't you think?
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, if Ruud has to play Novak,
Like I would say 75-25 against Ruud.
Yeah.
Maybe he won't. I mean, who knows if Rublev pulls out a howitzer in the next two matches, or just ends up beating Djokovic. He might end up playing Djokovic. You just don't know. I don't see Novak finishing number 2 at this point. I had Medvedev winning the group before the tournament, of course, but
Ooh,
yeah, that was
Yeah.
bold. Yeah, but not happening now, right? Safe to say. So it's definitely, I would think it's safe to say, but unless Medvedev wins his next 2 matches and
yeah.
Rublev loses against Tsitsipas, I guess it could happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean mathematically possible. I just don't think it'll happen. But yeah, it was a close match. Big win for Ruud. He's to the semi-final. Fritz versus Felix now is straight up knockout, right? Yeah, I think we can put the calculators down for this group. Ruud wins it, and number 2 would be Felix or Fritz.
Yeah.
yes,
But
that's definitely
Ruud
right.
and Nadal is actually going to be a pretty interesting dead rubber, right? With what we said earlier,
Probably, I
that
mean, this would be Ruud's best chance to get a win against Nadal, I would think. But
and that could be huge for him mentally. So I think he should really try his best. And yeah, of course, Nadal is going to try to end this with a win as well.
yeah,
Unless he actually lets Runa play, but I don't know if that's possible or not.
yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see a.
I
a
want
Ruud
to see
Rune
that
match.
actually. Yes, it would make sense for Nadal just pull the pluggies out anyway. So just to give us the Ruud versus Rune match. But anyway,
He did withdraw midway through the ATP finals like once or twice before, right? I think maybe when he played Goffin.
once, yeah,
and
2017 he withdrew.
Yeah, he played Goffin and then
Yeah,
pulled
and
the
then
plug,
PCB
yes.
took his place right after.
Yeah.
Okay, we see John's got the stats up there for us. Second
Almost
set of points.
identical
even
second serve,
on-
really.
Yeah, pretty even overall. Obviously, Ruud just getting more first serves. Ruud also was serving really big. A lot of those serves are 212, 213 kilometers per hour, and especially down the tee was just, great serving for both players. Ruud was just better.
Well, you
Fritz
can,
did just get that a little bit unlucky.
you can see I was gonna say you can see the disparity between their two backhands.
Backhands, yeah.
Fritz with 15 kilometers an hour more on average than Ruud's backhands.
Yeah, we expected that because Ruud's backhand is very tentative and just doesn't go for all of it on his backhand as much as he does on his forehand. Forehand is very reliable, very few shanks, which is interesting because players at, I would say, heavy top spins, they are in a way prone to mishitting sometimes. Not the case with Ruud at all. He did have that mishit on the forehand. Was it 5-6 or it was in the tiebreaker, I think, right? Or no, it was I think in one of the earlier games when he had 15-30.
It makes sense that they would make that they would have more shanks, right? Because you sort of take the ball at an angle rather than straight up.
Yeah, exactly, for Ruud's, but
yeah, it's
very
not happening.
backhand is very, very shaky, of course. Not as bad as say Berrettini's backhand, right? It's you can still hit. He can still hit winners off that wing. He can defend decently well, also. But yeah, forehand definitely the stronger shot. We'll put it that way. Yeah. Thoughts on Felix versus Fritz? Who do you see winning that?
It's quite a hard one to call.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, do you know that Ruud exposed Felix's backhand weaknesses in some way, and I also thought Felix played an under par match there. Felix at his best, I think, wins that match, but it's quite hard to, odds are, I think that he doesn't play his best, given his first two matches. Even the Rafa one was scrappy sometimes. So actually, I'm going to go for Fritz.
Yeah, I'm going for Fritz too. I think Fritz takes it. I have Fritz making the semi-final. I still think he will. I favor him more than Fritz. He's playing better tennis, I would say, at least from what we've seen so far. Fritz has been playing better tennis. He's been serving really well. I again can't really point at much flaws. Especially, I think you can only look at the first game, his first service game in the first set, where you could point out at flaws, which he played a bad service game, but he played a really good match otherwise. I don't think he'll have too many regrets. Ruud was just more clutch. But yeah, I think Fritz takes that. I think Ruud and Fritz, it'll be, will we get Djokovic and Fritz in the semis? I don't know. Could be most likely outcome.
Yeah,
I'm really interested to see who finishes second in red group. It could be Rublev, but again, the other two cannot be underestimated either.
Still the worst named groups in ATP finals history, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, they had such a good sort of trend, to go with former champions or the number ones. Was it that one year? But yeah, they just totally screwed it up. And it was the same for the next gen finals, right? And yeah, when it comes to Fritz and Felix, I think for me,
it used to be for a long time A and B. That's it. And then until 2015, they changed it. I think it was Group Boris Becker and Group Ili Nastase.
Because they were the
2015 was
1 year. It was also the first two winners, I think, of the ATP finals. 1 year. I mean, not the ATP finals, but the year in championship. And yeah, when it comes to Fritz and Felix, like for me, it's super close. I think sort of similarly to this one, Fritz has a big edge when it comes to the backhand, and perhaps the only worrying thing today is that it was actually Ruud who, despite that power disparity in their backhands, in the speed, in the sheer pace, it was actually Ruud who took more of them down the line in the most important moments. But yeah, I still feel like that's a bit of an edge that maybe Fritz can expose.
I would say is he returns better than Felix does. At least this match, he returned really well. Felix, not the best returner, I would say. But Ruud, even though he has that backhand, inferior backhand compared to his forehand, he was taking a lot of serves from the backhand really well, even that 6-5 point, the deciding set tiebreaker. So yeah, I mean, I'm going with Fritz. Djokovic. Oh, okay, let's talk about tomorrow's matches. Like, you have the popcorn-worthy match. That's the evening one. Medvedev versus Tsitsipas. First, obviously, we'll talk about Djokovic versus Rublev. I'm going with Djokovic. Straight sets. What about you guys?
Yeah, Rublev, if Medvedev can't touch his serve for most of the match, even the break that Medvedev did fashion was a lot to do with Rublev rather than Daniel. I am going to call it and say Rublev will be able to cover his serve fairly well in the Djokovic matchup as well, even with Djokovic's returning abilities. However, it shouldn't be enough. I just, Novak's playing great stuff and does trump Rublev in most of the other sort of rally dynamics. So I'm going to say 2 tight sets, but it's still got to be Novak for me.
Yeah, it could be. I see one close set between the two, probably the first set. But yeah,
it's probably tighter than the last ATP finals match they had. But
definitely, I think it would be.
We're gonna see more of that rather than what we saw in Belgrade. Of course, in Belgrade, Djokovic was still not physically ready for free set play yet, even though he played 3 sets in every single match. But yeah, it eventually caught up with him. Yeah, I think it's generally a pretty tragic matchup for Rublev, even though they only played twice and it's 1-1.
Tragic, interesting choice
of
words.
I don't really see him beating Djokovic. No.
What about you, Ashley?
Yeah, so I think if Rublev holds his nerve on the serve and then also just doesn't get in his own way mentally, I think this could be it could be pretty close. I still think I have Djokovic winning in possibly 3 sets. I think this is a different Rublev than we saw the last time they met at the ATP finals. I don't want to say it's confirmed because, things could change, but I think it could be pretty tight. A pretty tight match, and I think Rublev can take a set and maybe push him to 3. But if it goes to 3, I think I would take Djokovic in 3 still.
And then the other match, of course, as well, Tsitsipas and remind me, Medvedev. I'm going to call. Yeah, I'll call Medvedev. I think Cincinnati was a flash in the pan. Certainly Medvedev let himself get riled. There's still a million matchup differences that fall the way of Daniel for me there. So 1 set goes to Tsitsipas, given we can't underrate the level he generates from his serve, but it's 3 sets to Daniel for me.
Yeah, I'm going with Medvedev in 3 sets. I think he'll drop the first set and end up winning, but we'll see. It's just a gut feeling, of course. It's not like set in stone or anything like that.
Yeah,
I think
it's
he'll have a
definitely
slow
not set in
start
stone.
and then work his way up. He did have, I wouldn't say slow starts, slow start the Australian Open, but it was not like the previous matches where he would be a good front runner. So yeah, I would say Medvedev in 3 sets.
I think it's tighter than most people view it. I don't think the matchup edge is quite that huge. They've played indoors twice, I think, in the past, and it's 1-1 as well. And I actually would. This could be maybe controversial, but I actually would say that Tsitsipas was played a little bit better than Medvedev in their opening rounds. I mean, their opening fixtures, rubbers, I guess, which is very arguable and debatable. That's just sort of how I felt about it, and yeah. I just don't think the matchup edge is as huge as most people, I think, perceive it. I'm excited to watch it and will generally view it as pretty much a coin toss.
Interesting. I'm still sticking with Medvedev. I'll talk about it if I'm on the match. But yeah, I
think I'll be there for that match. Not sure if I'll be producing it or commenting. I'm not sure. It depends really. But I don't mind sitting out watching that match as well. It'll be filled with tension, especially for someone like me who's a Medvedev fan. But yeah, I agree with Damien. Actually, if the head-to-head is 7-3, a lot of the matches actually have gone to a deciding set. The first match, I would say the first 3 matches, right? 3 of the first 4 matches. They played at Miami, the infamous match which Medvedev won from a set down. The Basel quarterfinal was their 3rd match. They did play the US Open. Medvedev won in 4 sets. Basel again, very close match. Medvedev winning in 3. Monte Carlo as well. Medvedev winning in 3 in 2019. And they played close straight setters in Shanghai and the ATP finals, splitting those results. The only one-sided match I would say was the Australian Open semi-final. That was, Tsitsipas he just didn't even come close. Although he was close taking a set, he had love 30 at 4-5. Medvedev had was leading by a break, and then all of a sudden looked like slipped away from. But Medvedev just demolished Tsitsipas there. And then the Australian Open match this year too. The first 3 sets, high quality, really close. Cincinnati, same thing, pretty close match. So yes, Medvedev is more often than not come out as the victor when the match does go deep, but it's not one-sided just because it's 7-3 on paper.
Yeah, to be fair, there's been long runs of return points going Medvedev's way in a few of those matches. Sometimes I remember the Australian Open match, Tsitsipas won like 1 point on return or something in the first set. Maybe not quite as bad as that, but something like that. And of course, he's prone to that. We've seen it in the Novak matchup. I just don't trust him to sustain his level for long enough to beat Medvedev, even if it is tight.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think
there?
about Medvedev's level? Do you think maybe his slight dip in confidence would sort of show up? Tsitsipas could take advantage of it. Like I said, much like his match against Djokovic in Paris, we thought, okay, maybe this is a turning point. At least now it doesn't seem like it. I don't think that Cincinnati semifinal was a turning point by any means. Tsitsipas was definitely helped by Medvedev putting up a disaster show really towards the end of the second set and pretty much the whole of the third set. So yeah, Steph played really well. Not taking anything away from him there, but yeah, I think it's. I don't think there's gonna be. I don't think that's like a shift in their rivalry as far as the head-to-head is concerned.
I'm a little more concerned about the potential deep in confidence for Tsitsipas, really, because it really can be quite frustrating. You play Djokovic in Paris, lose to him in a first set tiebreaker, then you go to the ATP finals, get a terrible group, and then you play Djokovic instantly and you're 0-1 down. And even though you played some great tennis, you're actually in such poor position to come out of groups. And I don't know. I just feel like this can have a bit of an impact on
Yeah,
Tsitsipas.
and
But
also
it's,
Steph. Yeah,
it's a feeling.
I agree. Steph is number 3, but his level has fluctuated a lot, especially at times you wouldn't expect his level to dip. The Stockholm final, the Cincinnati final, the few matches, RG fourth round, and I mean the US Open first round, right? I mean, nobody expected those results, I would say. Cincinnati, okay, fine, Borna Coric, whatever. I'll give him that. Coric beat amazing players on the way to the final, but yeah, there's been some wild fluctuations in his level too. Not to say Medvedev hasn't had that, but yeah, I guess Steph has just peaked more than Medvedev has, and that's as a result he's higher ranked at this point. But yeah, I just don't know. Like I expect Steph to bring his close to his best, or he will obviously try to play his best against Medvedev. We'll see.
My thoughts on these serving stats. Yeah, just pretty much what was. I think the quote from quoting myself, paraphrasing myself. Sorry, I said at the start of the match, basically any of these players should have every opportunity to them to win their first serve points. They've got good enough serves. They've got good enough +1s. The conditions are fast enough that it doesn't matter if your serve's 120 miles an hour or 130 miles an hour. You can cover your first serve fairly easily at this sort of level. So. Yeah, that was all my thoughts on it. Basically, pretty much all the matchups will come down to what can happen in the extended rallies. So second serves, really.
Yeah, most of the indoor hard courts that we have on the tour right now are pretty slow, and this one is probably like one of the fastest, along with Milan, Basel, and I guess that's it, really.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's what we see here.
Ashley, who's the most likely person to stop Novak?
That I possibly Medvedev. I at the beginning of this tournament, I would probably pick Felix because he was just more in form. I think now I might go Medi. We'll see what happens. I honestly I don't have a good answer for that because right now the way that Novak has played in his first match, it looks like nobody's going to stop him. But if I had to pick, maybe Medi or Felix, I definitely don't think it's Taylor. I'm so sorry. Love you, Fritzy, but no, I don't think that's happening.
Who knows? He's pulled off some pretty big matches this year.
I mean, he has. I've been surprised before, but I don't think he's beating in this kind of form of Novak. I don't see if he has. I don't think he has enough to really rattle Novak on anything.
Yeah. That could happen.
What a beautiful man we're seeing on our screens. Why is he on our screens?
This is my soon-to-be tactical tennis coach.
Yeah,
Damon. I think that's why he's on our screens, right? Just
perhaps,
seeing the partnership in the making.
But he should coach Bias and Schwartzman, though, right? That would be the best.
He'd have a lot to say there for sure. I think there would be a lot of crying though from the coach's corner, so I don't know if that would really work as a particularly good partnership. We are getting sidetracked. Is this the point in the video where we close up shop? Has anybody else got some final comments to make before we skedaddle?
Yeah, I just want to say I'd love to see Medvedev win the group from here. That's all I want to say.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Sure, that's. I think I'm exactly the same. I'm a big enough Medvedev fan that I'd like to see it happen. Is that in lieu of Novak winning the set though? Winning the group, I should say.
Yeah, because one, that's what I predicted. Two, I don't mind Medvedev winning group, honestly.
Because Novak would probably still get through.
Yeah, I think Novak gets through regardless, but
Yeah.
Medvedev and probably needs it more for his confidence. Novak can qualify without winning a group, and I still think he's going to win the tournament anyway. But just for Medvedev winning the group, getting to the final, great result.
He needs it
I
more.
think
You're quite right. I want to see Felix get through. Taylor's fine, but I like Felix, so fingers crossed. Yeah, I mean, on that note, I think we've said all we need to say today on Talkie Tennis. There'll be a couple of amazing matches tomorrow with the Medvedev one in the evening and the other one. It's already escaped my mind what one it is. The Novak one in the afternoon, I should say. So
Yeah.
be sure to catch us then. We'll be covering those matches as well. Everybody, one by one. Shrey, thank you very much.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
Damien.
Thanks to the
Ashley.
listeners. Thanks to you guys, of course.
Ashley.
Shout out to everyone out there.
Yep.
Shout-
See you all.
And myself will catch you soon on Talking Tennis. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.